great team has its unsung heroes. The all-rounders, the heavy lifters, putting their organisation on the map. We're talking about you, the humble IT engineer, supporting EdgBLASTon across the season. They're the ones delivering, day after day.
And a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to EdgBLASTon. You're with Bears TV for MidlandsMania. 4 Midlands rivals, 2 matches, and hopefully one fantastic day of cricket. Bears against Notts Outlaws to come a little later on today. 7 o'clock start and getting underway in 10 minutes' time or so. The first of our 2 matches, Leicestershire Foxes against Derbyshire Falcons. The weather set fair. Couple of question marks earlier in the week with the weather not looking so great. But sun is shining. Crowd filling in, so hopefully a fantastic day of cricket to come. Alongside me, our lead commentator, ready for a long old day, Mr. Adam Bridge. Good to see you.
Welcome, Chris. I mean, this should be a cracker, shouldn't it? Really? In the grand scheme of things, there's nothing like a bit of Midlands rivalry to get things going. And today, we've got 4 of the best sides from the region going toe-to-toe on what is always a fantastic wicket. The sun is shining, the crowd are coming in, and actually there's not too long a boundary on either side today, so I think we might see a fair few amount of runs in the next 7 or so hours.
Well, we certainly hope so. It's had a couple of iterations, hasn't it, this day, Blast Off and now MidlandsMania. It does attract attention, and when the weather is like this, you mentioned the sides that we have, and also the stage of the blast we're in now. We're approaching that time where you need to start racking up victories, and for Derbyshire in particular, who got their first win last night, you can't afford to get into that rhythm of losing matches. So it's vital for all 4 teams today.
Yeah, I think we've always said momentum is so important in this competition. Obviously, the Bears, who come up later against the Outlaws, got off to a poor start, losing those first 2 games. But what we've seen over the years is it's all about getting on a roll. And I think for Derbyshire, when you look through the 11 and you look at the players that are available to them and the quality of the coaching as well, you kind of wonder how they made the start they did. Now, they finally got, as you say, off the mark last night. And again, you've got a very talented Leicester side who was sat 3rd in the table a couple of days ago. They've slipped down to 5th as things stand now. But this is a huge game for both of them in terms of just trying to build and get that momentum, because we're reaching the halfway point. Obviously, next weekend we head back into County Championship action after the next few rounds of games. So we'll be at that point where everyone can sit back, assess where are we at. And because it's 4 points for a win now as well, all of a sudden those gaps look bigger than they actually are. When it was 2 points, you always felt within touching distance. Now at 4 points, it looks like a massive gap. But with Northants losing last night as well, their first loss of the season, you suddenly go, oh, actually, the gap isn't that big. Yeah,
it's just opened up things a little bit with that Northants defeat last night. And for the 2 sides we're about to watch, they've had contrasting blasts so far. Derbyshire, as you mentioned, that excellent win at Trent Bridge is typical how cricket works. They looked abject for 5 matches, and the 6th comes along and they beat their arch rivals at Trent Bridge for the first time in 12 years. They needed that. But for Leicestershire, who are top of Division 2 in the County Championship, they've managed to maintain that momentum, which is often the case when you start winning the red ball game. White ball game starts, and they've really managed to harness the excellent results they got in the red ball.
They have, and I mean, you look at some of the quality. They welcome Rian Ahmed back in to the fold today, which will be key for them. But so much of cricket is played in the mind. If you're in that winning mentality, regardless of whether it's a red ball, white ball, if you're feeling form, if you feel that every time you walk to the square, regardless, you're seeing it like a beach ball, or when you're bowling, actually, you're just in that kind of rhythm. And actually, they have had a fantastic start to the season, but it's kind of one that's been coming the last couple of years. They've had a longer term project that they've put in place and have started to build, and now it looks like it's coming to fruition.
Yeah, Alphonso Thomas doing an excellent job at Leicestershire, no question about that. So the two teams that we have coming up for you at 10 minutes time on what looks a very good-looking pitch. With the red stumps already in place, still plenty of fans wandering into EdgBLASTon. Nice and straightforward for Derbyshire, who are unchanged from last night's victory against Notts at Trent Bridge. And there are some familiar names here if you tend to watch your cricket at EdgBLASTon, with a couple of the Birmingham Phoenix players on display. Nye Donald right at the top of the order. He was excellent for Derbyshire yesterday, 70-odd off around 30 balls. Caleb Jewell, one of the overseas for Derbyshire. The ageless Wayne Madsen, the ageless Samit Patel I think there's 81 years between them.
There's a lot of ageless players in that middle order, that's for sure. But they're two players who invariably do quite well when they play at EdgBLASTon over the time.
Yeah, quite. Lots to like in that Derbyshire side. Finn Hudson-Prentice on loan from Sussex, his second spell here at Derbyshire, and the young spinner Mohammed Ghazanfar. And as for Leicestershire, one change for them, and that from their last game, which was a while ago. They've had quite a strange schedule of Leicestershire, where they played quite a few matches early on, then had a long old break. So their last game was Sunday, quite a heavy defeat against Yorkshire. They've had the best part of a week to think about it, and the young lion, Rayan Ahmed, is back in this Leicestershire side. Lewis Hill is the player to miss out. Logan Van Beek, who did have a spell at Derbyshire, and Rishi Patel, another former Birmingham Phoenix player, at the top of the order. Plenty of talent on display for both. Leicestershire have won the toss and they will bat first. They will make use of what is a very good-looking pitch. There is plenty of firepower on display here.
Yeah, there always is. I mean, that's the thing. I think we're going to see runs. Obviously, Derbyshire were here last weekend playing against the Bears, and we saw Madsen and Whiteley in particular looking fairly imperious form. But I mean, you talk about the quality and the depth of the runs, and you look at the likes of Samit Patel, as you say, who we know. I mean, you just said off air, always seems to end up with a 3 for kind of 15, 16 or something like that. Aaron is over in the stats corner in Badger's Den. I know he loves a bit of Samit Patel purely for the numbers that he provides, don't you, Aaron?
Absolutely, Adam. First and foremost, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Bears TV. And yeah, in terms of those numbers, we'll chat about them throughout the duration of the broadcast today. But Samit Patel, one of the icons of the T20 Blast. So very much looking forward to watching him in action today. And so too the likes of Wayne Madsen. Ross Whiteley, as Adam mentioned, was absolutely sensational in the game against the Bears on Sunday. So this should be a fantastic day of cricket and an excellent game as well. When you look at the head-to-head, these two sides are so evenly matched. Derbyshire will be galvanised after that result in the East Midlands derby yesterday. We should be set for an absolute firecracker here on MidlandsMania.
I like the fact you're known as Badger in the Den, because I think you were Squirrel in the Den a while ago, weren't you? Statistician extraordinaire, whatever term you want to use. You mentioned that the head-to-head there, Aaron, and Derbyshire, they feel like they're a county that come to EdgBLASTon and tend to perform well. I know they've been here for T20 Blast-Off in the past, and I think they've played Leicestershire twice in that, and they probably, correct me if I'm wrong, have beaten them twice. So they tend to perform here, and they've had decent results against the Bears whenever they've tended to bring their A game. I remember Leicestershire deploy here a couple of seasons ago, really putting the Bears to the sword. So this is a venue they tend to like.
It certainly is, and in terms of the head-to-head between the two sides here, it was the Falcons who won the last game at EdgBLASTon, so again they might be buoyant with confidence following on from that. But in terms of overall head-to-head, it's 20-18 in favour of the Foxes. Just 2 games split these two sides, so there's been a real to and fro and a great deal of tussles over the years, and to be honest, today should be absolutely no difference whatsoever.
Leicestershire have made that excellent start to the Blast campaign on the back of what was a very good start in the Red Ball season. And when you speak to those in and around Leicestershire, there is a definite emphasis on trying to finish the job in Division 2 and get back into Division 1 for the first time in 20-odd years or so. But the table looks like thus, with Northants finally losing last night, but they're still streets ahead. Still looks very strange to see them on 24 points. Taking on board what Adam said about the change of points system. Derbyshire right at the bottom there on 4 points. So that win was very much needed. And Leicestershire there in 5th on 12 points and pretty well set for a push for the quarterfinals, with still plenty of matches to come, with just about hitting the halfway point. For Leicestershire, that they're in with a lot of the big boys there, the teams that tend to be pushing for the quarterfinal spots. But they will have first use of this pitch, and it does feel, EdgBLASTon, always like a bat-first kind of pitch, and it looks, as it always does, Gary Barwell and co do such a good job. It looks a fine pitch to utilise first.
It does. With the hybrids, obviously, so we know that they last well. This is a fresh pitch. It's not one that was used last weekend. Last weekend we got, I think in the end, about 4 games of cricket out of one surface, and it was still performing particularly well at the end of the game. So it does look good. There's no doubt about it, and you can understand what Leicester were thinking. I think the old days of the logic of always wanting to chase, unless you've got weather around. So many teams now want to set the total. You know what? They want to play at their own tempo. They want to play at their own pace. I mean, again, depending on individuals and depending on the kind of players you have. I mean, you've got the likes of, Shan Masood tucked away in the middle order for Derbyshire, for Leicestershire, should I say? You look at someone like that and you just think, how early do you want to get him in? Do you want him pacing an innings for you, or do you actually want him going out there and playing with freedom because you're trying to set yourself a total? And I think that's one of the interesting things with the way Leicester line up. They've got some big hitters. The worrying graphic, or part of that graphic for me, is their run rate. I mean, for where they are in the table, to be in the minus,
yes,
is quite a worry. They've taken some beatings in amongst their games, and that's something they'll try and put right. And again, you can do that. Go out, score 200 today, which we often see here, and then kind of see if you can steamroller Derbyshire cheaply.
Yes, the 2 defeats Leicestershire have suffered, one in particular last Sunday against Yorkshire was sizable, 100-run plus. Saw a glimpse of the Leicestershire dugout there with the captain Louis Kimber signing an autograph. Shan Masood ready to come in slightly lower down the order. Rishi Patel and Sol Buddinga will open up for Leicestershire, and Derbyshire already congregated at the bottom of the stand waiting to appear. We saw Mohammad Ghazanfar, the young Afghan spinner, open up early. In fact, he opened up last night against Notts, so it'll be interesting to see if that is a tactic that Samit deploys. He's a very exciting prospect, isn't he, Ghazanfar? And I know you guys would have seen a lot of him when he was here, a week ago when the Bears won quite comfortably in the end against Derbyshire.
He didn't bowl particularly well that day, I would say. It wasn't one of his better outings. He certainly came to us with an air of excitement. We were all looking forward to seeing what he had, because Aaron came up with some remarkable stats from his league performances in the Afghan League, which none of us were really aware of the name of until Aaron decided to impart that information to us. But actually, they got after him. He didn't bowl particularly well. Aaron probably's got the numbers in front of him in terms of he went for over 30
yes,
in
he
his
did.
first 3, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He brought it back excellently, though, in that final over. Got the wicket in the end as well, just to give him a little bit of confidence. So, yes, since then, though, he's been on absolute fire, and we'll touch upon his numbers throughout the broadcast, but already has taken 9 wickets in the 2025 season. So, he is one of those players who immediately, I would say, jumps off the page for this fixture.
I actually saw Jonathan Trott post-game last weekend, who's here, and obviously he'd come to watch. So I think, he knows the national coach is there and thereabouts, keeping an eye on him and what he's up to, that's for sure. But he looks an exceptional talent.
Yeah, and it can be such a tough learning environment, the T20 Blast, for a young spinner. So it's a credit to him that he's had an impact in this Derbyshire lineup, and they are taking to the field now. Their captain Samit Patel leading them out. The pyrotechnics burst into life opposite us. Fine colours of blue and green. Difficult to make out in the blue sky. Sun shining down. Umpires already in the middle, and Derbyshire will be bowling first. Leicestershire will be opening up with the Bears against Notts to come at 7. But we start in the company of Adam Bridge with Leicestershire-Derbyshire, an East Midlands derby to get us underway.
Perfect way to start MidlandsMania. Michael Gough and Sue Redfern make their way to the middle. There are standing umpires for this opening game on what is a beautiful day. I think we're in for a decent spell of weather, and we've got some cracking cricket coming up in the next 7 days or so as this blast reaches its halfway stage before returning, of course, to county cricket. And it is the team in blue who are the home side for this fixture. Derbyshire. Samit Patel was missing last weekend against the Bears with a slight injury, but he's back in today, and obviously Rian Ahmed returning for Leicestershire. And the thing with Samit Patel is it's not just his presence as a captain and as a player, but it's just influence amongst the group. I know you've covered a lot of Derbyshire over the years. As an individual, when they picked him up from Notts, they must have been delighted.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the key things they wanted from Samit was to bring his winning mentality. They always felt, the Derbyshire hierarchy, that what really prevented Derbyshire getting over the line, especially against Notts, was that the big game mentality, the ability to drag a game over the line, and Samet has brought that. It hasn't been massively successful against Notts recently, but last night certainly was, and he would have been thrilled to have taken 3 for 14, because he believes, like I think many that get to his age, he can still do a job. He believes that he should still be operating at the very top of the game.
I'd argue he looks in the best shape of his life, to be fair.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. It is going to be Gazanfa who will get us underway then from the pavilion end here at EdgBLASTon. There is a fairly strong breeze blowing across from left to right from this pavilion end as we watch on, and a decent crowd in. The Hollies starting to fill up away to our right hand side, but all eyes on Gazanfa, who will get us underway, and he's going to be bowling immediately to Rishi Patel, who will take strike at the Birmingham end. MidlandsMania is underway, and a dot ball. Let's hope that doesn't set the tone for the next 7 hours or so, and we're going to see plenty of runs. It's a really good crowd in as well, and a really nice atmosphere this Saturday afternoon. I think weather-wise we should be okay. Bit of scudding cloud around, but nothing major. Gazanfa just playing around with his field at this moment in time, just to make sure he's happy and content. Obviously just the 2 fielders outside the circle during the power play, and that's a lovely shot from Patel. Just worked into the leg side, almost effortless for 4 runs, and Pat Brown was after it, but it was a fruitless chase in the end, and we have our first boundary of MidlandsMania.
You needn't have worried. Dot ball first of all, no drama. Yeah, good shot. It's a short boundary, isn't it? Through mid-wicket. The Hollies boundary is I think going to be a target for many a player today, because that is very tempting.
It is. The boundary rope in a little from the edges of the Hollies, so there's a good boundary tram out. The square is off to the left-hand side as we look today. So much cricket going on here at EdgBLASTon, utilising every part of it. Gary Barwell, who is the head of turf management, and another dot ball for Gazanfa, who seems to have found a nice line in length 30. Maybe a little bit short with ball 2, but aside from that, he's settled in. Breeze will affect him as well. Spinner with a slightly longer run up than you would expect of most, but he gets into a nice rhythm, and he produces the prod forward from Patel that time, and he just seems to have found his pace nicely.
It looks great, EdgBLASTon. I know many a ground has been struggling because of the dry spring that we've had, and many grounds have looked weather beaten, but not EdgBLASTon. Looks an absolute picture. He's done a miraculous job to get the grass looking so green.
Yeah, it does look fantastic. All ready for our DJ set later from Joel Corrie. That's coming up between the 2 games, so about 10 to 6 he'll be blasting the tunes out. I'm told it's very loud. Told it makes the cameras shake, to be fair.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's a fairly nutty setup over the way from us, right opposite where we are. A couple of screens and the DJ decks as well. Do they use decks nowadays, or is it just run off? It's run off computers.
What, you think you just press play on his?
Well, it's all run off the old hard drives. I think I'm sure there is a skill to it, and I wouldn't be able to do much with it. But I don't think they have to spin them round quite like they used to. As Pat Brown does some more fielding. They will get 2 more just to complete the over, and it's a tidy start really for both sides. Just 6 off the over, and the Derbyshire Falcons then Leicestershire Foxes 6 without loss at the end of the first over. I wonder if it'll be Pat Brown they turn to immediately. I don't think it is. It looks like
Ben Aitchison.
It's going to be Aitchison, yes, who's going to bowl from that far end.
Yeah. Yeah, Pat Brown tends to be utilised a little bit later for Derbyshire, and then the normal practice is to throw to Samet, or Samet brings himself on just after the power play, and it never will bring himself on in the power play if desperate measures are called for, but he never likes bowling in the power play. You can understand why, clearly, with only 2 fielders out of the 30-yard circle. But the modus operandi tends to be keep it tight, and then Samet can come and do his work, but we'll see if Leicestershire can alter that plan with some early hitting.
Budinger is going to be taking strike to Aitchison from the city end here. Nicely run single. How's Budinger's season been going, Aaron?
Well, there's one thing that you can always guarantee with Sol Budinger. And that's boundaries, boundaries and more boundaries. In terms of this season, 99 runs at 16.5. The average isn't the strongest, but I spoke about the strike rate, 152.31. So he'll look to set the tone, the tempo, the foundation of this innings. And I think that Rishi Patel alongside him as well will also be looking to smash some early 4s and 6s just to get the Foxes off on the right note.
We'll get a feel for their power play scores so far this season in a moment or two. But it's Patel now who is on strike. Again, it's a decent ball. They've sneaked a single. Such a really nice start from Aitchison. He's found a good line and length in his opening 2 deliveries, but they've managed to just sneak through with some very good run singles.
Yeah, that were 2 excellent runs. I must admit that second one I thought was a little bit dicey. Fielder was just inside the 30-yard circle, and I thought for a moment that a direct hit might have had Patel in a bit of bother, but I think he was comfortably home in the end.
Strays onto the pads and gets punished immediately by Budinger. He gets his first boundary of the afternoon, and it moves the Foxes onto 12 without loss midway through this second over, and a sign that you really can't stray anywhere onto the pads and you'll be punished.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a bit of a gimme, isn't it, for a player of Budinger's quality. Such a game of fine margins for the bowlers, isn't it? If you're just slightly offline, you get punished. If you're a batter and you make a little mistake, 9 times out of 10 you're not punished. You might fly past the outside edge. For a bowler, you tend to go to the rope.
Oof, that's a better ball. Trying to be cut away by Budinger, but nothing doing. In terms of power plays and opening partnerships between these two, Aaron, what's the numbers like this for this season?
Yeah, so I'll start with the power plays first and foremost, because I look back to the last game. It was 34 for 2 against Yorkshire, and of course in the end the Foxes dismissed for 107, and we'll talk about EdgBLASTon's average after this delivery from Ben Aitchison.
A little bit uppish as he played that shot, and the misfield means they'll comfortably complete the one.
Yeah, so in terms of EdgBLASTon's average this season, it's been 48 for 1. So in terms of this start, it's been decent so far. 7.09 is the run rate, and in terms of this over, I must say Ben Aitchison has actually bowled very nicely after that boundary, and we can talk about his numbers throughout the broadcast, but he's looking for a second wicket of the season here.
Last ball then of his first over. Oh, and again, just a little bit of life in that wicket off a decent length. That's sprung up, and it induces the full shot from Budinger. Completes the over. 7 from it, which feels a bit harsh on Aitchison because it was a better over than that. And after 2 overs, the Foxes are 13 without loss.
Every great team has its unsung heroes. The all-rounders, the heavy lifters, putting their organisation on the map. We're talking about you, the humble IT engineer, supporting EdgBLASTon across the season. They're the ones delivering, day after day.
Gazanfa is going to bowl his second over. That shirt rippling away in the wind. It's coming round the wicket this time because he's bowling to the left-handed Budinger. He was on 6. Patel on 7. It's a good shot. 4 more to the total. No messing around from Budinger there.
Played that really nicely. Got to the pitch of the ball beautifully. And once you beat the 30-yard circle with 2 men outside the circle, one is, well, they're both on the leg side boundary, aren't they? So pierces the infield and gets a very nice boundary.
Got a long off in place now. Oof, that's not going to do him any good. Terrific hit from Budinger. Straight back over the bowler's head. So they changed the field to take the mid-off out to long off. And in the end, he just changes sides and strikes it beautifully.
Yeah, it's such a crisp connection. Finn Hudson-Prentice, who's down here at long off, watching that sail over his head, and Gazanfar under a little bit of pressure now, 2 balls into this over, having gone for 10.
Yeah, tough start. How can he respond? Better ball. It's more the right kind of length, but I think Buttinger showed such intent on those first 2 shots.
He's a player that once he gets going, he really gets going, doesn't he? 50-odd in about 17 balls, I think, against Derbyshire in the first game of this competition.
Good response from Gazanfar. Last 2 deliveries, much better. Better line, better length, just cramped Buttinger that time for a little bit of room. Seems a fiddly batsman, Buttinger, doesn't he? Every ball he's just rechecking his gloves. And
yeah, there's a little twiddle.
Yeah, just playing around all the time. Change of angle here, he's coming back over. He lost his line completely. It's 1 more to the total. I'm surprised he swapped, actually, having just settled those last 2 deliveries.
Yeah, you could have understood it after the first 2 sizable boundaries, but yeah, he did seem to have found a nice little length 2 balls after, but it's all part of his makeup, isn't it? He does try and change it up fairly readily.
So it's 1 more to the total. Score moves on to 25. 1 ball remaining in this 3rd over.
He's got a very good mentor in Samit, isn't he? Here's someone who's been there and done it and got the T-shirt. So he's joining a county that will give him lots of game time, but he's also joining a county skippered in the Blast by one of the very best. He's not happy with something here.
Just having a look at his field, I think, and he's not content with how things are. So he's just going to make the change, and he's going to bring long off into the circle, and he's pushed mid on out to long on, and in the end Patel just plays it back down the wicket, but just tinkering in the field all the time, the youngster, but he's trusted by Samit Patel to do what he feels is appropriate. 3 overs gone then. The Foxes with a decent start here, 25 without loss. That was a really good over for them all in all, 12 from it off of Gazanfar's 2nd over, and well, questions to be answered here for Samit Patel. I think in essence he's going to go to Aitchison again to bowl another over, because it was a decent start from Aitchison. Yeah,
just the one that strayed down the leg side that was hit to the boundary, but apart from that, he had found his line and length very nicely. It's good to see him back playing. He's one of these players that still has lots of potential, but has been plagued by a couple of really long-term injuries, so it's nice to see him back bowling again.
Dangerous. It's in the air for a while, but didn't get good enough contact to carry it all the way that time to Caleb Jewell.
And it's interesting you talk about momentum, and Derbyshire would come here today full of confidence after winning yesterday. For Leicestershire, it's very rare at this stage of the Blast. You get such a long period of time without a game, Sunday to Saturday. I know they lost on that Sunday, but you just wonder how long it'll take to get back into the rhythm.
Oh, that's a lovely shot. It's going to go all the way as well. Samit Patel's in a kind of fly slip position there, and the boundary rider is too square to cut that one off. And it's 4 more to the total. And Buttinger is flying along here. 21 off 11 so far, 29 without loss.
He's showing all the repertoire, isn't he, Sol Buttinger? That was as delicate as it comes. We've seen the flourishing drive, we've seen the big shot down the ground, and now we've seen the little tickle through third. Lovely shot.
Oh, he's picked that one up too. All the way for 6. Well, you didn't think he made much contact with that, but that's flown over the ropes. Again, just straying too far onto the pads, and he gave himself a little extra room as well. It's a lovely shot. Really nice, and it's just one bounce. I was going to say it went into the stand, but it didn't quite make it, despite there being a youngster who was desperate to get his hands on that.
Yeah. Gone are the days where you used to win quite a lot of money if you caught in the T20 Blast, didn't you?
Yeah, you did, particularly if you did a one-hander as well.
That's right, yeah.
I think they still do that in New Zealand, I'm not sure. Aaron will know, because he just watches cricket all day, every day. It's 1 more to the total. It is 1 more. Score moves on to is it New Zealand
I
or
feel
South
you're
Africa
right.
they still do it?
It's South Africa.
South Africa.
In the
Ah.
SA20, yeah, you can catch a certain amount of rand, but I think they still do it now and again at the Oval as well, I think.
Oh, okay.
Surrey do it from time to time, but
And is it one-handed or is it
has to be
two-handed?
one-handed.
Has to be one-handed.
Has to be one-handed. Yep.
Because you can hold your beer in the other.
That was
Yep.
the one I did see from New Zealand was beer one hand, catch in the other. Should get more for that, I think.
It's a very nice shot that from Patel. He's only going to get one for it. Just does a prod forward, really. Very comfortable.
He's got the ability, Patel, here to just nudge and nurdle to get Bodinger back on strike when your partner's 28 from 13 and seeing it very nicely. You may as well get him on strike.
One ball remaining in over 4, and then we'll reach 2/3 of the power play. And Aaron can tell us the kind of average power play score here at EdgBLASTon. Oh, what a shot that is. I mean, talk about stand and deliver. He's literally cracked that through the covers. Bare minimum of movement and 4 more to the total. 41 without loss after 4.
That was a remarkable shot. That was a baseball club, wasn't it? No foot movement, but it's a wonderful swish of the bat, isn't it? Look at that. He's playing some innings at the moment, Sol Bodinger, and Derbyshire will be thinking, here we go again. We've seen this before.
41 then from the 4 overs. And the power play average here
Yep,
in
is
the Blast?
48 for 1 so far this season. If you look at Leicestershire's power plays as well, they've had some pretty low ones. I think of the 27 for 6 against Northants. That immediately springs to mind. But you look at the matches against Lancashire and Durham, 52 for 3 versus the Lightning and 65 for 2 against Durham. So at this current rate, going over 10s could be easily one of the best power plays that the Foxes have had so far this season.
Hudson Prentice is coming into the attack. Well, last week when he was here, he had no number. They've restored him to number 17.
yeah.
He was numberless. But he's into the attack. Slower ball immediately. And it'll just be 1 more to the total. He's got leg by. I thought there was a little bit of bat on that, but not according to Michael Goff.
Yeah, back at Derbyshire, seemingly under the radar. I think we get so used to, in the football world, transfers being touted for weeks and months on end, that when in cricket it was just, oh, Finn Hudson-Prentice is back.
Yeah.
It's nice to see him.
Is he on loan?
Yeah, he's on loan, yeah. Only for a handful of games.
Caught the outside half of the bat this time, but Buttinger's swinging so clean and so true, and with such power that it brings in 4 more. On to 36. Strike rate of, what, 240, roughly? I'm waiting for Aaron to nod. My general guesses are sometimes okay, but in this instance it may be a little off.
It's a lot.
It is.
No, you know you're in good nick when even your edges are flying to the boundary.
Bang on.
240.
240.
Oh, that was...
Excellent maths.
It's been a very, very good start, this, for Leicestershire.
He's come right down the wicket, and look at that. I mean, that's a shot and a half, that. The intent was there, I think, before Hudson-Prentice even got to the crease. He was already 2 or 3 paces down the wicket, and he's absolutely smashed that to bring up the Foxes' 50. And we're only midway through the 5th over.
It's another remarkable shot, isn't it? He's using his feet really well. Bodinger gets to the pitch of that very quickly, and then once he gets there, he has the freedom to put it where he wants. Lovely shot through mid-wicket.
Terrific innings so far. Clever, very clever from Hudson-Prentice. Slower ball bouncer. And he just left it alone, didn't even bother. I thought there may have been one he may well have tried to cart over the leg side. But
It looked like it was there to be very much hit. And given the shots he's already played, yeah, I'm with you. I'm rather surprised he didn't have a little nibble at that one.
we do know Hudson-Prentice has got the repertoire, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been around long enough to know how to try and deal with these onslaughts, which Buddinger's throwing out at this moment in time. Better ball. Into the pads, on the toes. Does bring 1 more to the total, though. 51 without loss.
It's been a textbook start, this, isn't it, for Leicestershire? The big boundary hitting, but also the running between the wickets, been very, very sharp. And they've picked up a fair few singles. I think Patel almost has seemingly exclusively dealt in singles, isn't it? I think 1 boundary, and the rest have been ones.
Buddinger also taking a real kind of liking to this Derbyshire attack this season, isn't he?
Yeah.
And Patel will just take one more. Ooh, would have been tight. I think it would have been out, actually, if that had hit. Very casual from Budinger in the run. A few of those have looked a little bit tight. They got home, so you'd say it's good running, but 52 without loss after 5 overs.
Yeah, I'd say the reaction of the Derbyshire fielders, case in point, tells you that was very, very tight. Yeah, Budinger had to get his skates on there. I don't think there was a moment halfway down where he thought a direct hit and I'm in a little bit of bother here.
Pat Brown is going to bowl the final over the power play, so I think we all assume we'll be seeing Samit Patel in about 6 balls' time, but Brown first up from the City end, and it will be Patel on strike, which I'm sure the Falcons will be very happy about. A little respite from Budinger. I mean, you've already talked about Budinger's 50 earlier this season coming very swiftly, so we know he's not in record territory, despite smashing 41 off 18.
I've stolen Aaron's thunder there a little bit. I'm sure you could. I thought it was around 17 balls. I'm sure you probably know exactly. I've got the thumbs up. There you go. That's always good to know. Nod from Aaron.
Oh, a swipe from Patel. Wasn't far away from that. Pat Brown just giving me a little bit of room and something to go and throw the hands at, which he did. They're both fiddlers, aren't they? Both constantly unsticking the Velcro on their gloves between each ball.
I feel there are very few in the modern game that aren't. I can't think of many that are just stock still.
He's got him this time, has he? Yes, he has. There was a nick on this one. And Patel's on his way. And Pat Brown strikes. Well, a slightly different approach to what Ben Aitchison was showing previously. A little bit shorter, a little bit more room to play with. And Patel got away with the first one, but not the second. He's on his way for 9, and the Foxes are 52 for 1.
Important breakthrough that for Derbyshire, who would have been fearing quite a sizable power play total. It still would be fairly large, but to get a breakthrough, just what they needed. And Pat Brown, who is often the strike bowler when Derbyshire need him the most, and Rishi Patel maybe feeling a little left out in terms of the boundary hitting, seeing Sol Budinger at the other end carving it to all corners of the ground. Big old heave-ho, little nick through to Brooke Guest, and that's an important breakthrough for Derbyshire that brings the former Derbyshire skipper to the crease. Yeah,
he's a player I've always enjoyed watching. Shan Masood has travelled around a little bit in county cricket sure, hasn't he?
He has.
Trying to find his home.
Yeah, Leicestershire via Yorkshire.
I thought when he first came to Derbyshire it was going to be there to stay, but obviously the lure of Yorkshire was too great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the lure of money, I said the lure of Yorkshire
Absolutely.
Instead, but I'm sure money may have had an impact on it in some way, shape or form. Yeah, he's going to face Pat Brown first up here. And no surprise, he's happy to just see off the first ball and bring Budinger back on strike. 3 balls left of the power play then. 53 for 1, a decent power play for the Foxes. Certainly above average here at EdgBLASTon so far this season. Pat Brown has had the kind of career that must be slightly frustrating for him and many of those around him. But destined for so much. And his international call-up came, but back injury, various other injuries since have denied him those opportunities that are certainly coming his way, because a few years back, obviously, when Worcester won the title, he was an absolute Trojan in that side, wasn't he?
Yeah, I remember him coming through at the Rapids and thinking, here's someone that can dominate for years to come, both at the county stage and international scene as well. But you're right, another one where injuries have come at such awful times for him.
A lovely shot, just for one though. Always has a familiar flow about him. He's very graceful, Shan Masood, when he's got a bat in hand. T20 record for Shan Masood is fairly impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. In terms of his career best, 103 not out in the format. It's just not worked so far this season, though, by Shan's standards. 73 runs at a strike of 108, which is very low by his standards. So he'll be hoping for a pretty big score here at EdgBLASTon on this Saturday afternoon.
Last ball of the power play then, and it's going to be to the man of the power play, Budinger, and he's happy just to work it for a single, and that completes the over, and that is power play complete. And the Foxes, mainly helped and driven on by the batting of Sol Budinger, finished the power play on 56 for 1. And Aaron, in terms of their power plays this season, how does that rank for the Foxes?
Yeah, so overall it's the third best power play for the Foxes in the 2025 Blastons. It's a very strong one by EdgBLASTon standards. We spoke about the average earlier of 48 for 1. Well, they're 8 runs ahead of that with the exact same number of wickets lost. So you'd argue that that is the Foxes' power play, and Sol Budinger absolutely loves facing off against Derbyshire County Cricket Club. We spoke about that 51 from 17, 43 from 20. He looks in ominous form so far today.
And he's on strike to Hudson Prentice. He'll cut away just for 1. And it's 1 more to the total. Score moves on to 57 for 1.
Yeah, he was clearly very good for Derbyshire, Shan Masood, when he was at the county ground, and Derbyshire have a habit of picking up players that are maybe out of international recognition, and then they have a fine way of playing them back into international recognition, and then they get stolen, and then they're without them for crucial parts of the season, which is not ideal.
Far from it. 1 more to the total for Masood, who moves on to 3. Did you have something? You had something? You had something startling to add there. You had that look on your face.
Not just yet.
Oh,
However,
okay.
I am doing some maths at the minute with regard to Sol Budinger and his record against Derbyshire so far this season. So we'll wait. I don't want to put the commentator's curse on him, but so far I'm just looking at the raw numbers. They are absolutely extraordinary.
It's always a good sign. You know he's doing maths when he's taking his shoes and socks off to include his toes. Budinger turns that round the corner for 1. I was just wondering if they'd run a little harder there. Could have potentially maybe forced an error and got a second, but it's comfortable. 59 for 1. I don't think Shan Masood wants to sprint too much.
No. It's former Notts Budinger, isn't he? So maybe there's a little bit of that in it. Just enjoys playing the old enemy.
Just 3 singles off the first 3 balls of this over then from Hudson Prentice. It's Masood who's back on strike. And there's that slower ball bouncer again from Hudson Prentice. Very effective. It is that kind of tennis ball bounce, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just Masood, well, he waved at it, but just couldn't quite make contact.
Yeah, effective is the word there, because I presume when the ball is pitched short, the brain maybe thinks it's coming at you much quicker than it actually is, and then by the time it's arrived and you've gone through the thought process, it's in the wicketkeeper's hands.
Budinger back on strike. Score moves on to 60, so 1 ball remaining in over number 7. Opening partnership of 52, broken by Pat Brown. We anticipated that we'd see Samit Patel at this point, but no.
No, you'd imagine Pat Brown would continue from the City end, and Samit obviously quite content with the job Hudson Prentice and Brown are doing.
Down the wicket comes Budinger with those strides, and it's 4 more. And it takes him to the cusp with another 50. He moves on to 49 from 23 deliveries. And the Foxes, after 7 overs, are 64 for 1. Really lovely shot. Great movement once more. 64 for 1. Samit Patel is coming into the attack.
Yeah, scratch all that. He's in.
They'll save Pat Brown. was going to say, he probably looked
Yeah.
at that last over and thought, actually, we've just quietened them down a little bit. It's a good time for me to come on and bowl.
It's a good time for me to come on and take 3 for 14 from 4.
Possibly so. We'll get some of Samit's numbers in a moment. He's met by the feet of Shan Masood, who slices it away for 1 more to the total.
Yeah, you'd think that the right way, which is always a tough way of playing Samit, is to not let him settle. Do not let him find that rhythm. And you expect Shan to move his feet to him. And you can't imagine Sol Bodinger will not continue to play the shots he will.
I suspect he might try and cart him to the ropes here. First ball. Oh, he does. But he skewed it up in the air. And he's gone. And the catch is taken by Wayne Madsen. And Samit Patel strikes. And Bodinger is on his way. Well, sure as night follows day, Samit Patel's in the attack. And he has a wicket. 65 for 2 now, the Foxes. And Budinger's terrific innings comes to an end. He's gone for 49. It's 65 for 2.
What is there to say about him? He's just a master, isn't he? He probably knew exactly what Sol Bodinger was planning. He's going to try and tonk me somewhere, and it's not the most pretty of shots, is it, from Bodinger across the line? And it's a good catch, Madsen. He was in the air for a long time, and I think for a moment he thought he might have misjudged it. And it's a long way down when you're 41 years of age. So the 40-year-old bowler and the 41-year-old catcher, there's hope. There's hope for us all.
And that's wicket number
224 for the Blast's second all-time leading wicket taker. And yeah, I'll touch upon those numbers with Bodinger as well, because I imagine the Derbyshire fans will be very relieved to see the back of him. Exactly 100 runs, striking at 250.
Wow.
Crazy.
Rian Ahmed is the new batsman for the Foxes. And Samit Patel is tying an end up here. 4 balls, 1 single, 1 wicket. You couldn't ask for any more, really, from your captain.
No.
Rian Ahmed, who was warming up in the nets when I arrived here today. Fresh back from Lions duty. Well, he was on T20 duty as well. I don't think he played, though. He may have played. We were a little bit busy here at EdgBLASTon on most of those occasions, to be fair. But certainly being around that T20 group must be quite special. That's just 1 to the total at the end of the over, and we've had 8 overs. 66 for 2 for the Foxes. I suspect all the superlatives that can ever be said about Samit Patel have been said. This end, we're going to get a bit of Martin Anderson. It always feels when I say his name that he should be in a firm of accountants or something. It doesn't really sound like a cricketer, does he, Martin Anderson? But he's in and immediately finds a really nice line and length to Rian Ahmed.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Chain of solicitors.
Yeah, very much so. There's Aitchison and Anderson would be quite a good.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
Brand of solicitors maybe somewhere in Derby, who knows?
Yeah.
Run rate slow considerably. They were ticking over at 9.5 in the power play, and yet here we are. It's a wides from Anderson. Just down around 8 now, just over 8. So certainly the brakes have been applied by Derbyshire.
Yeah, they've taken 2 very important wickets there, especially the Sol Bodinger scalp. He looked set to continue his power hitting.
Might try and make this 2. No, well, Rian Ahmed wanted 2, but as previously discussed about Shan Masood and his desire to sprint, I think he'd rather do his talking in boundaries.
Yes.
Just 1 more to the total. Rian Ahmed was opening up, wasn't he, in the Red Bull for Leicestershire? So we know he's very handy with the bat. No, again, this time they both set off. I think there could have been trouble there had they decided to go through with that. I think that's a wise decision.
Yeah. The odds on a run out tumbling rapidly. There's a couple of times where it's been a little bit to me, to you.
The Derbyshire outfielding's been pretty tidy so far, so I think they don't want to risk too much. However, they are kind of getting stuck in a world of singles at this moment in time.
Yeah, Mickey Arthur's been, this season in particular, the Derbyshire head coach, very hot on the fielding being top-notch. He's felt in the past that it has been sloppiness in the field at times that have cost Derbyshire. We know in this format, fine margins can cost you. He's just moved, man. Is that Wayne down there, Wayne Madsen?
Yep.
He's just, that's a great bit of tinkering. He's just moved him from square leg to short mid-wicket. There you go. Prevent a single.
With a very straight bat, Rian Ahmed right now. Already faced as many balls as Shan Masood, just 2 to his name. And again, it's 1 more to the total. Very much playing in the V down the ground so far. Just 4 singles. Good over. Oh, 3 singles and a wide, shall I say.
Yeah. It's probably always quite a nice time to bowl, isn't it, when a couple of wickets have fallen, so Leicestershire just going through a period of rebuilding.
It's going to be 1 more to the total, and all in all, you'd be very happy with that if you were Martin Anderson, particularly if you were accounting. That's only 5. that would work perfectly. Good numbers.
That was great numbers.
Yeah, good numbers. Samit Patel's coming back, which is no surprise at the far end. 71 for 2 then from the opening 9 overs on MidlandsMania. Decent enough start for Leicestershire Foxes, of course, and this is Bears TV, but we are bringing you the first of today's MidlandsMania games here at EdgBLASTon. Everyone's enjoying a beer, so don't forget to like the stream if you've maybe popped open a cold one while you're watching on from wherever it may be. Do like the stream. Only click once though, because we don't want it to go off, but it will be good to have your support this afternoon as we bring you both of these ties as part of MidlandsMania, and we'll get a bit of live music in between from Joel Corrie, who's got his own stage and screens and decks in the distance. That's going to be a little bit later on between the 2 games today. Reminder, later on a separate stream you'll be able to watch the game between the Bears and the Notts Outlaws. And if there's as many runs as there were in the first game of the season at Trent Bridge, I think we'll all be very happy with that later. Maybe a slightly better result from a Bears perspective would be good.
Yeah, it always has a feel of a big game, doesn't it? Bears against Notts, 2 sides that play at test-playing venues, 200 teams, albeit with slightly different franchises, but always has a big feel, that one. Some more tinkering here from Samit. Crowd
starting to fill up as well, which is very nice. More and more bodies arriving in. That's 1 more dot ball from Samit Patel. 9 deliveries, 1 for 3 so far. It's an excellent contribution to date, to the point where he forces Rian Ahmed to do something and he gets a boundary. Quite a fortunate one as well. Definitely caught the outside half of the bat. But the ball does run away to the ropes, and I think, as they always say, there's action balls, aren't there? Too many dot balls just lead to a moment where something has to happen.
And that was very much it. And yeah, there'll be great frustration there from Samit that didn't land into the hands of a blue-shirted fielder, but timely boundary for Leicestershire.
Will it allow Ahmed to get going here? That's a lovely shot. Really is nice that. Planted his foot, and he's just blasted that through the covers for 4.
Yeah, that was the antithesis of the previous shot, wasn't it? The ball before, a little bit wild, a little bit out of control. That one, much more like it from Rian Ahmed. Lovely stroke. And there's plenty of space. If you beat extra cover, then the ball will roll quite comfortably for 4.
1 more to the total, and that completes the 10th over. We're at the halfway stage, and the Foxes on to 81 for 2 then. Shan Masood is on 8 from 9. Rian Ahmed is on 12 from his 13 balls so far. Partnership between these two on to 16 And at this point, I mean, if you're a Fox after the power play, things have slowed a little, but actually just 2 wickets down for 81 is a fairly decent position to be in.
Yeah, it's difficult to know who will be the happier at the halfway point at 81 for 2. Given the 2 wickets down for Leicestershire, Derbyshire will feel that they've got a foundation to get through the middle order, but Leicestershire likewise have set themselves up if they can keep wickets in hand for a fairly handy total here, I'd say.
Another wide ball. In terms of kind of halfway scores, Aaron, 81 or 83 it's up to now. Of course, it was 81 at the start of the over. In terms of setting a platform here at EdgBLASTon, I'll get your take on it in a second. And that's cut away for 1 more to the total. 80s tend to lead to a what, 170, 175?
Yeah, 175 to 180, which was the average score here at EdgBLASTon in 2024. It's been a little bit lower scoring so far this season, so the average first innings total is around about 168, 169, so Fox is well on course here.
Just followed Rayan Ahmed there. No run. Good comeback from Addison after that opening wide. Just they ran a single for as well.
Feel there's a shot coming, don't you? I always feel when Samit's at one end, albeit some good shots from Rayan Ahmed to the boundary, that feel that whoever's operating from the other end sort of feel that you have to target them. Just like that.
Yes, yeah, indeed. Rayan Ahmed, really tidy shot. 4 more to the total. He's a high-quality batsman, Rayan Ahmed, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got it all, and you can certainly see why England are very keen to see him progress as he has done through the various youth levels and the Lions. Of course, he has played for the senior team at the very top level as well. He's a very, very shrewd operator.
Outside half of the bat there, it's not the classiest of shots, but it will get 4 more to the total, and I don't care where they come from, really. He moves on to 20 off 16, and now a bit of momentum starting to build for the Foxes.
It's amazing how quickly it changes in this game. You talk about Derbyshire reining it back in, finding their rhythm, restricting Leicestershire, and then in the space of 8 balls maybe there, a couple from the Samit over and a couple here, or 4 balls into Anderson's second over, and suddenly 92 for 2, couple of big overs for Leicestershire, and you feel that they are now the aggressors.
Run rate's starting to edge over 8.5 towards the 9 mark, whereas a few moments ago it was down in the high 7s. So it doesn't take much to just get that momentum shift going. A couple of loose balls can be punished, and that aggression that Rayan Ahmed is showing. And I suppose the worrying thing here for Derbyshire is they'll be watching Shan Masood just ticking along at this moment in time at a run a ball, knowing that in kind of the next 3 or 4 overs he's more than capable of putting the pedal to the metal. Because he's solely dealing in singles, as things stand.
He's taking on the Rishi Patel role.
Yeah, Shan Masood ticking over here. And the Foxes moving on quite nicely. After 11 overs, they're 94 for 2. Just wondering when we might see Gazamfa back into the attack. 18 he went for from his first 2 overs. That second over took a bit of a pummeling, but he's going to have a go at the City end this time. And obviously now being outside of the power play, the fielders can be slightly more widespread, and he's definitely protecting the leg side here of Shan Masood with a ring of fielders on the rope. And Ahmed again was away like a rabbit there, thinking I'm having 2, but Shan Masood calming him down.
Save your energy, Rayan, would be my advice. If you've learned anything from your 17-ball stay, you can run the first as hard as you like. You're likely coming back for a second.
Yeah, Shan's not going anywhere.
No.
95 for 2. So an intriguing battle. 2 young spinners going toe-to-toe here. Caution from Rian Ahmed, takes the single.
Crowd are sounding nicely in voice, aren't they?
I was going to say that everything is filling up nicely. I mean, what more could you want on a Saturday afternoon, really?
I know, yeah.
They've got a bit of disco tunes to come. I'm probably sure Joel Corey doesn't want to be called disco tunes, but, you know, there'll be plenty of music to dance to. I suspect at that point they may have consumed a couple of beverages.
I think all the kids are saying disco tunes, aren't they?
Well, I don't know, but there were disco tunes in my day. Let's put it that way. No, Joel Corey is excellent. A bit of a.
Is he a big cricket fan? Do we know? Is he?
I don't know. She's a football fan. I think he's a
yeah.
real footy fan. A bit of a warning there, I think, for Ghazan Far from our umpire for just going too far down the middle of the wicket. He was in the danger zone. Had a talking to from Sue. I'm sure it was a pleasant talking to.
Yeah. Although Sue strikes me as the kind of person you don't want to get the wrong side of. She strikes me as an umpire that she gives you out and you're not sure, you just accept it.
Yeah, no nonsense.
Yeah.
4 singles from Ghazan Far's over so far. He's got the better of Shah Masood. That was much quicker, that delivery.
Yeah, really did zip that through, didn't he?
Does vary his pace well. That's one thing we saw when he was bowling here last weekend. He likes to use the conditions and also just varies his pace quite frequently. That one with a bit more flight, and I think he was fancying his chances of striking the pad there, but it is 1 more to the total. And the score moves on to 99 for 2 then after 12 overs. There's partnership up to 34. Rian Ahmed's done most of the heavy lifting on this one with 23 of those 34 runs. And how's Rian's season been going? Rian's season's been going.
Well, he's only played in the 1 game so far, but there is a lovely little milestone here for Rian Ahmed. He's actually got it bang on the money now. 500 T20 runs so far. This is his 67th match in the format, the 65th time that he's batted, and already brought up 500 runs. So congratulations to Rian for that milestone. And yeah, I mean, for Leicestershire here, we've got a really intriguing 3 or 4 overs to try and lay the foundation for those heavy hitters. I mean, I can't wait to see Louis Kimber. He's one of the most destructive players in the county circuit. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see how the Foxes set about this one.
Yep, 8 overs to go. Pat Brown's back in, and some of the fancy shots coming out now from Masood, but he didn't really get a hold of that. And it's just 1 more for the total.
I think for a moment Samit thought he was in the game there.
100's up. Out of 12.1. Probably not as quick as they would have liked after the power play, but
it feels like we're entering a very important stage of this contest. It's difficult to know whose shoes you'd rather be in. There's a definite platform for Leicestershire to kick on here. I think that's probably why Pat Brown, one of Derbyshire's premier strike bowlers, is back in the attack.
Slower ball. Just 1 more to the total. I do hope, a few moments ago we had a shot of some of those in the crowd. I do hope they've come well prepared for today with hats and a bit of sunscreen as well, because it is a beaut of a day. No need for sunscreen there. Look, hats, sunglasses and full-on Leicester kit.
Yeah, like that.
Very well prepared for a day at the cricket. Slightly slower ball again. Means an uppish shot from Shah Masood, and he's not quite going to get there. Oh, he's missed it completely. And in the end, it's 4 runs. Well, not only has Hudson Prentice not judged the catch, but in order to try and get to the catch, he's allowed it to cross the ropes for 4.
Yeah, it was neither one nor the other, was it? It wasn't really an attempt for a catch. I think he felt that he could get there. Maybe he was better off bailing from that earlier just to prevent the boundary, and it would have only been 2 rather than 4, and in the end he very very much did neither there.
I feel he could have dived.
Yeah.
Maybe being a little bit harsh. Oh,
Oh,
what a
wow.
shot that is. What a shot from Shan Masood. Magnificent 6.
They like it down there.
They do. Now replica shirts. Well, we said he's got the ability to put the pedal to the metal. He's clearly decided that now's the time.
That was effortless, wasn't it? It barely looked like he hit that. It was just a wonderfully fluid stroke. You often associate Shan with those kind of shots, but it didn't look like he hit that with the power to go as far as it did.
And all of a sudden, he's got striking at a better rate than Rian Ahmed was, despite spending a long time out there just hitting singles.
Now he's running twos.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
26 off 19 for Masood, 113 for 2 now. And it's been a really good over, actually. 14 from the first 5 deliveries from Pat Brown.
Aaron mentioned the Shan's record, and certainly speaking to those associated with Leicestershire, they do feel that there's more to come from him this season. They felt that they haven't quite got the best of Shan Masood yet. Maybe we'll see it today.
Just going to be 1. He'll keep the strike for the start of the 13th over. And then move on to 114 for 2. 7 overs to go then. Leicester Foxes did win the toss, chose to bat as well. And they're making good progress. See there, some of the clever supporters who've gone for the shade in the Hollies stand. I think that's probably wise today. Some have travelled with flags as well, which is good to see. For a trip across the Midlands. Smattering of Bears fans in already for later on too. Really fantastic day out, these 2 games. With Joel Corey in between.
With Joel Corey in between, spinning his disco tunes. Yeah, there's a lovely spread of supporters around EdgBLASTon. Most stands are very nicely filled. Samit's back.
Certainly tossed that one out wide enough for Masood to have a little go at it, but no run. 27 suddenly Masood's found himself on from 21 balls. For that onslaught in the last over. Here he goes reversing. Patel's up, nobody else is up. I think maybe the wicketkeeper was obliged to go up as well as your skipper's gone up, but nothing doing. Guest joining in a little bit late there.
Yeah. Never really looked convincing.
Certainly put a bit of a limp out of Masood.
Certainly have the ability now. You'd think Leicestershire, looking at Samit, he's midway through his 2nd over, so his 3rd over, beg your pardon, so he's only got 1 over after this. Platform is there, so don't do anything silly, see him out, attack at the death, or not.
No. Well, if you're going to bowl a full toss like that, it's going to get punished, and boy has that been punished. What a shot that is from Masood. He's on to 33, he's absolutely hammered that. Well, he turned it into a full toss with those couple of strides forward, but that's into the stand. That's way beyond the rope. It's almost landed in the DJ decks that are set up for Joel Corey for later.
Oh.
Goes again. And he's got plenty of that too. Not quite into the Hollies, but not far away.
This is the Shan Masood that Leicestershire want to see. That's a couple of wonderful shots. One down the ground, the other over deep square leg. Problems for Samit Patel now.
Beautifully timed, he goes again, this time straight and hard and fast, and for 4 more. And the score moves on to 132 for 2 then, after 14 overs. Well, it's no 3 for 16 today for Samit Patel, 1 for 29 from his 3 overs. But that's 18 off the over.
18. It's not often Samit goes for 18 in an over, but a couple of brutal hits from Shan Masood. 25 balls for his 43. And now Leicestershire are very nicely set up, aren't they, for another handsome total at 132 for 2. 6 overs to go. Sammit's only got 1 left. You've seen the likes of Ben Aitchison bowl out, you imagine Pat Brown as well. But Derbyshire need wickets to stem this flow, and if you're Leicestershire, it's more of the same, and they have that platform now to keep swinging, knowing that there are big hitters to come in as well.
Feels like we've not seen Ahmed for a while. He's on strike, and he's having a go at Pat Brown now too, but not quite the cleanliness of the striking of Masood, but it's going to get to the boundary anyway. It's 4 more to the total, and that's 136 for 2. And well, I think the last 4 balls alone, we've seen 20 runs come from them.
Yeah, and this is where you feel for bowlers. That didn't look a particularly bad ball from Pat Brown. Swing of the bat from Ahmed, and Nye Donald chasing it. Looked like for a moment he might have just got there, but the ball seemed to accelerate towards the boundary. It's another good 4 for Leicestershire.
All of a sudden 200 is coming within sight for the Foxes. Oh, he's edged that and he's gone. Rayan Ahmed's on his way for 29. Pat Brown responds in the only way Pat Brown knows how to, by taking wickets, and the Foxes are on 136 for 3, and that 71-run partnership between those two is broken.
It's another important wicket that Pat Brown has taken. He dismissed Rishi Patel in exactly the same manner, caught behind Brooke Guest when Leicestershire were pretty well set, and he's broken another good partnership there. It's what Pat Brown does, as you say, Adam, and it's a very important wicket. Decent delivery again, wasn't it? And Ahmed, I think he just tried to run that down, guide that off the face of the blade through third. Well, no, he tried to drive it, didn't he? It was a full-blown drive. Little Nick, Michael Goff heard it. I think we all heard it. And a 3rd wicket down for Leicestershire. And just when you think this game is going one way, as is the beauty of this format, something happens to make you think, okay, maybe Derbyshire can restrict Leicestershire to under 200.
Kimber is the new batsman, and well, Aaron was telling us this boy can hit.
Yes, he can. He certainly can. I always describe him as one of the cleanest strikers of the cricket ball in England and Wales, and the stats do back it up, as we'll touch upon after this ball from Pat Brown.
Well, he's hit that, and that's going to be 4 runs. There's nothing that can be done to stop that, despite the despairing effort that time of Anderson to try and get there. I mean, he struck that with absolute venom for 4.
Oh, you heard it. What a crisp sound that was off the middle. You can often tell the quality of a shot by how it reverberates around the ground, and that was audibly firing to the boundary. Anderson got there. Okay, he might feel a little bit disappointed he didn't stop that. It would have been a very, very good piece of fielding.
They got something on that. Wasn't just pads. 1 for 1 for 3 brings Shan Masood onto strike. So tell us about Kimber and his numbers then.
Yeah, so far this season, that was his 11th 4, so second leading in that metric as far as Leicestershire are concerned, and at the top alongside Sol Budinger in terms of 6s hits. Both of them have hit 7 so far this season in the opening 5 matches. So Louis Kimber is a very muscular, very destructive, very hard-hitting cricketer, and yeah, you've got to watch out at deep mid-wicket. It's a very, very strong area for the Foxes captain.
Shan Masood on 43. Oh, top edged it up in the air. This could be Patel underneath it, and Samit Patel does take the catch. And it's a disaster for the Foxes if they've lost their 2 in-batsmen in the space of this over from Pat Brown, who gets his 2nd wicket in his 3rd over. And having lost Rayan Ahmed, they've now lost Shan Masood for 43. The score 1 for 1 for 4. And is this a momentum changer?
He's playing a very good hand, is Pat Brown, isn't he? 2 wickets in that over, 3 for 28 now. 1 ball of his 3rd over to come. And yeah, how quickly this game can change. The 2 important wickets that Derbyshire have taken. It's a good catch this from Samit had a long time to watch it drop. He takes it very nicely. And a little bit of emotion there from a player that often wears his heart on his sleeve. That would have been quite difficult to make out against the blue sky, and the sun shining in that direction as well. Takes it nicely. And at 141 for 4, Cox joining Kimber at the crease, 2 new batsmen.
Yeah, 2 batsmen who can absolutely smack it. That's what you would say about these two, isn't it? There's no messing around with both of these in terms of their power and their strength. We've already seen a little of it from Kimber.
Quite.
Ben Cox, the wicketkeeper, of course, knows his way around this place a little. Nice over from Pat Brown. He completes the over. He's on 3 for 28, and after 15 overs, it's 141 for 4. Penny for the thoughts of Shan Masood. Maybe it wasn't the time to quite go for that kind of shot. Just see out Pat Brown's over and try and guide your team home for 5 overs. So a little frustrating, maybe.
Yeah, I think once you've seen Rayan Ahmed fall, I know you've not got too much time to rebuild, but yeah, I think... Oh!
He's gone. Kimber's gone. And Samit Patel strikes again. And if ever there is a man for the moment, it is always Samit Patel. 2 wickets, he's taken the catch. He just tells Ghazanfar, that's how you do it. See? That's just how you do it. He's bowled him, and it's another wicket down for the Foxes, who are really losing their way. 141 for 5.
Yeah, they really are, from a position of great strength. Now they're looking in a bit of trouble, 141 for 5. And that's a very timely wicket for Derbyshire. The dangerous Louis Kimber on his way. What happens here? He's goes straight through him. I thought there might have been an under edge, maybe. Samit's on his way celebrating. And what were Leicestershire? 136 for 2 to 141 for 5. It's been a very impressive fight back, this, from the Falcons, as a former Falcon comes to the crease.
Yeah, missed a straight one there, didn't he? I think that was the issue. New batsman then is Logan Van Beek. Samit Patel, well, he's got his 2 wickets. Can he notch the traditional 3rd? A few more runs he's gone for this time, but he's got 5 balls to try and do it. And Ridley Van Beek fielded off his own bowling by Samit Patel.
Yeah, now you'd think if you're Van Beek, who's been around the block a few times, 4 balls of Samit spell left, just see them out.
We get Cox on strike with a single. 142 for 5. Spectacular collapse here, Aaron, from the Foxes, really.
Yes, it is. As Chris touched upon, 136 for 2 at the start of the 15th over. They've lost, well, 3 wickets in the space of 5 deliveries prior to these last 2 balls from Samit Patel. So, yeah, definitely beginning to just wobble and buckle a little bit here, are Leicestershire. They need to just sort things out for a few overs.
Clever by Samit Patel. Just trying to tie them up a little more. A wicket and a single off this over so far. 2 balls to come. Use of the feet by Cox. And good running will bring them a second. It's well done from Cox and Van Beek. 1 ball to come in the over. All of a sudden that potential 200's looking a long way off for the Foxes. And that's a very tidy over from Samit Patel. A wicket and 4 runs from it. And he completes his spell. And again, Samit Patel doing what Samit Patel always does. He takes wickets, he's in the game, he took a catch, he's captained well.
Indeed, it's exactly what Derbyshire brought him into the club to do. And there was certainly some surprise when he left Notts, and I think at the time the Falcons and Derbyshire and Mickey Arthur and co were, as soon as the opportunity came up to sign Samet, and Samet was keen to come, it was a no-brainer. Disappointment last season when Derbyshire were close to making the quarter-finals, but lack of consistency. It's been a problem this season as well, but if they can string some wins together, they'll be right in it.
Well run, do that. Clever by Ben Cox. Knew he was running to the danger end, took all the chances. Hudson Prentice is back into the attack. I mean, the run rate's just over 9, so something around the 180 mark would be a really competitive total, you feel, here today. Last 4 overs, first game of MidlandsMania. Around to the Bears against the Outlaws to come. 7 o'clock start for that one. Our stream will be underway around 6:40 for that this evening. Well fielded. That's Wayne Madsen. Gets down well for a man in his 40s.
Yeah.
Speaking as a man in his 40s, I don't think I could manage that, to be fair.
Oh, I'm sure you could.
Listen, I'm about to enter the 50s, so we're at slightly different ends of that decade spectrum.
Fair enough. Still both in your 40s, though.
Indeed. We'll cling on to that for another month or so. I'm actually, strangely, I am the same age as David Beckham. You wouldn't be able to tell, would you?
Oh. You look good for it.
Or Sir David, should we call him now?
Yeah.
It's one more to the total.
I'm sure your knighthood is only
moments away.
Moments away, yeah. Yeah, he's. And I think he's just signed a contract extension, I think, Wayne, as well, isn't he, Wayne Madsen? I think he's with the Falcons for another year. I think I read this week.
Well, I think Steve-O set the bar, didn't he? Darren Stevens down at Kent. When he started carrying on into his 40s and winning trophies, they all went, oh, hang on a minute, we could all do this. I'll tell you about a really interesting conversation, and I think he's written about it in his book, actually, which, funnily enough, has hopefully landed on my doormat today for a bit of holiday reading for me next week. But
nice.
Jimmy Anderson was talking about this kind of whole retirement thing and how offensive it is for when you talk to sportsmen when they get in their kind of late 30s, early 40s, and all the talk is, well, when are they going to retire? Because you kind of don't say it to accountants and you don't say it to anybody else and whatever they're doing, do you? Yet it's actually open game on sportsmen to say, well, come on, you may be in fantastic shape, but it's time you retire because you're a certain age.
Yeah.
Good shot from Cox. He was seen coming there, though, by Hudson Prentice, for sure. Cox onto 7. And the 150's up. Yeah, 150's up with the ball left in the 17th over. 150 for 5. So at this point, usually we start to have a rare guess as to what kind of total they might be able to post. We'll do that after this ball, actually, because it will give us a slightly better steer, you would feel. Last of Hudson Prentice's third over. Oh, he's got a top edge on that. And Van Beek gets it away to the boundary ropes for 4. So with 3 overs to go, 154 for 5 after 17 overs. So Aaron, we'll start with you. What are we thinking where we feel the Foxes may get to here with 3 overs to go?
Yeah, so for me personally, looking around about the 180 mark, I think that would be quite competitive. And
that's vague.
Yeah,
be specific, man. Be specific.
I will go 183 runs. That'll be my one. So I'm going with 29 runs from the final 3.
Chris Coles, what about you?
I would think, what are they? Run rate 9, so 180. I think they'll go a bit higher. I think they're going to go 188.
188.
You?
I'm going to be a little more negative, and I'm going to go 177.
Someone has to. Okay.
Yeah, I think. We saw Kazanfa last week come back in towards the end and bowl a really tight over. They've still got Pat Brown with one left as well, so that would make me think we could be okay. But we've so far, every time we've played this game, we've been proved very wrong. I think it's fair to say.
The beauty of it.
Yeah, 155 for 5. Kazanfa, 24 off his 19 balls so far. Wicketless, he'll kind of not want to finish wicketless, that's for sure. What's Van Beek got to offer against him? He's gone for a big shot. Didn't get all of it. Had he got all of it, I think he'd probably been caught on the boundary ropes, but it's just one more to the total.
I think if whatever they land on, if they do get towards that 170, 180, I think they'd certainly take it from their position of 1-4, 1-for-5. But there'll be an element of disappointment given their strong position with 8 overs or so to go, being only 2 wickets down, 130 odd on the board.
It's the reverse just for 1. Tidy over this so far.
From a Leicestershire perspective, they'll hope that it's the Derbyshire of the first 5 games that turn up rather than the Derbyshire of last night, because the Falcons have struggled chasing, and they've struggled chasing quite meagre totals this season as well.
It's just 1 more to the total again. It's Pat Brown on the boundary ropes. Just trying to make out these chanting that's going on from the back of the Hollies. I think they're Derbyshire supporters.
Someone give us a wave. Yeah, I'm not sure who.
I think they're Derbyshire supporters for sure. It's a dot ball. Every dot ball precious at these moments of this innings. Just 4 singles from Ghazanfar's over so far. And again, he's done well. Final over last time, he pulled it back, and he can get out here without a boundary. It will be a very good over for the Derbyshire Falcons. And it is just going to be 1 more to the total. So 5 singles from it. And with 18 overs gone, 159 for 5. They've put on 18 off 17 balls, these two so far. However, with 2 overs to go, anything around the kind of 180 mark from here, I think, would be a fantastic achievement.
That's looking quite optimistic now, isn't it? Yeah. It was a strangely circumspect over that from Leicestershire. I thought there might have been a few more fireworks. Still 5 wickets in hand, albeit heading down the lower order, obviously. But with 2 overs to go, Pat Brown will bowl out, and then presumably Ben Aitchison to finish off.
Yeah, you would think it will be Aitchison who reappears at the...
Hudson Prentice has 1 left.
Yeah, he's got 1 too. I mean, it could be that his kind of slower ball bouncers might be quite a useful addition at this point in proceedings, but we'll see. Last over then from Pat Brown, 3 for 28 so far. Oh, that's a good shot, that is, from Cox. Slower ball from Brown on the pads. They'll know each other very well, of course, from their time at Worcester together.
Yeah.
That's a good shot.
I presume that's why he's gone around the wicket to him. I don't quite understand why he's going around the wicket to the right-hander, because if you err, I mean, it seems an easier shot if you were slightly in line, and that was, sadly for Pat Brown, that was. And that, as we know, that boundary, that side, the deep backward square to the right-hander in front of the Hollies is not the biggest.
Yeah, it's very short indeed, but he's coming round. Slow again. This time it's off the pads. I'm guessing that's what he wanted first time, but got it better, a little straighter on this occasion.
A little word there from Pat Brown to Ben Cox. I think it was
I was just trying to see
polite
if
enough.
there's not a smile on Pat Brown's face. So
he's got a good scowl on him, Pat, isn't he? Maybe it wasn't.
Staying round the wicket, though, even to Van Beek, who's on strike.
Shot.
That was effortless. Effortless for 6 from Van Beek. Really nice strike. Pat Brown just a little wider this time, coming round the wicket. Just gets his pad out of the way, doesn't he?
It's a glorious shot. Powerful man, Logan Van Beek. He's another one, a bit like Shan Masood. Makes the game look very, very straightforward. I'm not sure about this around the wicket experiment. I'm struggling to find a reason why he's had so much success over the wicket.
Just the 1 this time. Does mean, however, 14 off the over so far. Cox is back on strike. Okay, my 177 is now looking like we're out the game. your 180 odd is back in, you see.
You know,
it doesn't take much for it to change.
It doesn't.
As we see, really good over from Ghazanfar, and you'd put your money on Pat Brown also coming in and delivering a fairly tight over, and yet He's been taken to the cleaners so far with 2 balls to go. 173 for 5. Delicate. So delicate, and yet 6 runs from Cox. Pat Brown just stands in the middle of the wicket. Nonchalantly, Cox walks back to his mark. He's played that brilliantly.
That's a wonderful shot, isn't it? Sort of shot that 20, 30 years ago you'd look on in disbelief, but we see it as such an important weapon in any player's repertoire. And again, from a Derbyshire perspective, it's a heavily offside field that Pat Brown is bowling to, and albeit that was pitched on the off stump, but still you've got to be so accurate when you're bowling to not much protection on the onside, albeit that was a fine shot and went over everyone's head for 6. But I am surprised he's not reverted. There will be, of course, there'll be a plan. They haven't done this on a whim. There'll be a reason why, but I must admit, at the moment, it's difficult to see what that plan is.
He's been carted for 20 off this over so far, and that's going to be some more. 4 more, in fact, because the outstretched arm of the fielder is never going to get there. It was always way away from Hudson Prentice, and it is 4 more to the total. What an over that is for the Leicestershire Foxes. Really superb for them. 24 runs from it. One of those overs that can so often be a game changer, because with 6 balls to go, they suddenly find themselves on 183, and well, anything less than 190 now would be a travesty.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Adam. Match-defining over that could be. And suddenly all of our guesses look a little bit too shy. Well, you're at the game, so
yeah,
you're long gone. Yeah.
Unless there's a maiden coming.
What did Aaron say? What did he say?
183.
183.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So unless we're going to see a cheeky maiden up the other end from Hudson Prentice.
That'd be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I just wonder if his slower ball bounces here and his ability to change pace actually might be why he's been given the nod for this final over, really. Wicketless in his 3 so far and gone for 27, but Samit Patel trusts in him.
Yeah, suddenly from a Leicestershire perspective, they'll be eyeing 200, which would be some effort given the predicament they were in 20 minutes ago.
Big swipe from Logan Van Beek. This could be tight. The bowlers are the wicket keeper's end. Nope. Quite comfortable in the end.
Good running. Good running.
I think they knew where the danger was coming. 185 for 5. Cox on 26. Van Beek on 17. Striking at almost 200 here, Van Beek.
Oh.
We'll make that over 200 because that's a 6. What a shot that is as well. They move on to 191. And all of a sudden 200 is within sights for the Foxes. And there's a 50 partnership as well.
Yeah, and they've both contributed to it, Ben Cox and Logan Van Beek. Logan Van Beek at the back end of that 50 partnership, executing some wonderful shots. Derbyshire know all about this. Such a powerful hitter, but in the space of 2 overs less, this game right back in Leicestershire's favour.
Oh, that's a biggie as well. Don't think he's got all of this one. In fact, he's going to get caught on the ropes.
He's dropped it.
Oh, he's dropped it. He has dropped it.
Oh, Nyron Donald.
Well, it looked so comfortable. I know he was cautious about where his feet were in relation to the rope, because you saw him have a little glance, but he looked like he had it pouched.
It did. Like you, I thought that was heading into the city somewhere. It sounded so clean off the bat. Should have been a fairly comfortable catch.
Yeah, I think the slower ball from Hudson Prentice may have caused the problem. This time he's swiped it into the leg side and nothing more. Just for 1 more. 194 for 5. Van Beek a lucky man. 11 off the first 4 balls of this over. Donald still hands on hips, unsure as to how we put that down, you think?
Yeah, he'll be getting his mind into batting mode, because he's he's going to be very, very important for Derbyshire. If they're going to successfully chase this down, you feel that Nye Donald is going to play a big hand.
That's allowed because he tried to reverse it. The switch of hands done for Ben Cox there. I think it may have been inside the tram line anyway, to be honest. The guidelines for a wide ball. If they could get to 200, I mean, psychologically, a 6 off this last ball, just to get them to the 200 mark, always makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does.
And suddenly you are chasing 10 and over from the off. Cox is on strike. No, but it's a good ball from Hudson Prentice. They will come back and they will complete the 2. And the Leicestershire Foxes at the start of MidlandsMania have done very well to reach 196 for 5. Cox unbeaten on 28 and Beak unbeaten on 26. It's a 55-run partnership to close things out. And the fact that they got close to 200 after a couple of wobbles, there's been some terrific innings. And as ever, Samit Patel right in the midst of everything. He and Pat Brown combining very nicely to take the 5 wickets that fell today of the Leicestershire Foxes. And it means that when we return for the second innings, Derbyshire Falcons are going to be chasing down 197 for victory at the start of MidlandsMania here at EdgBLASTon. So the Foxes finish on 196 for 5.
Every great team has its unsung heroes. The all-rounders, the heavy lifters, putting their organisation on the map. We're talking about you, the humble IT engineer, supporting EdgBLASTon across the season. They're the ones delivering, day after day.
So we are a quarter of the way through MidlandsMania here at EdgBLASTon. Leicestershire 196 for 5 from their 20 overs. So Derbyshire, when they get going in around 5 or 6 minutes time, will have 197 for victory. Aaron alongside, we've dragged him out of the corner into the spotlight to run through that Leicestershire innings. It was it felt like an innings of about 4 quarters. At one stage it looked like Leicester were on for a really big score. Then Derbyshire back into it, and we thought, okay, they'll be restricted to about 160, 170 maybe. But then the partnership at the back end, Logan Van Beek and Ben Cox, have given Leicestershire a real platform in this game.
Well, they have, 196 for 5 at EdgBLASTon is some target, to be honest. And in terms of overall records, this would be a record run chase in matches between the two sides in the T20 Blast. The previous best was 185, and that was set last season. It was 188 for 6, but the target was 185. So, yeah, this is going to be an almighty chase for the Falcons. And it was an innings of very much multiple facets and different narratives. We thought at one point 175 to 180 would be a very good score on this surface, and all of a sudden we saw the acceleration and explosion of boundaries from Cox and Van Beek at the end, and all of a sudden, yeah, Leicestershire, you'd argue, probably in the driver's seat as we just take a look back now on the highlights from that innings.
Well, the start of the innings dominated by Rishi Patel and Sol Budinger, and to be honest, not so much Rishi Patel, who was a bit part player in the 9 that he got. It was Sol Budinger who was showing his full repertoire, wasn't he? And it doesn't matter who he was up against. Gazanfar there being driven through the covers. We saw it all from Budinger, and as you mentioned throughout that first innings, he's done it before against Derbyshire, as we remember very early on when he got that 17-ball half-century. He was one short of 50 today, but once again proved what an excellent ball striker he is.
Most definitely, yeah, and what a record he's got against Derbyshire so far this season. 100 runs, striking at 250, so yeah, it was one of those wickets which we thought when he departed things could have slowed down a little bit, and they did early on in that partnership between Rayan Ahmed and Shah Massoud, but I'll tell you what, Leicestershire really did fight back brilliantly in this innings, and we're just taking a look there at the dismissal of Rishi Patel. Pat Brown, until his final over, was on absolute flames, wasn't he?
He was 3 for 51 from his 4 overs in the end, Pat Brown, but it was over 19, which we will see in due course, that really did swing the tide back in Leicestershire's favour. And at this point, when Wayne Madsen takes a really good catch to get rid of Sol Budinger, that was Samit Patel's second ball of his spell, and we thought, classic Samit, he's come in, he's doing a job, he's picking up some really important wickets. And at this point, Leicestershire, the run rate slowed, the wickets fell, and Derbyshire got a foothold in this game.
They did, and it was a period of consolidation, wasn't it, between Rayan Ahmed and Shah Massoud, and we'll see after this partnership those wickets falling in bunches as well. I mean, it was a staggering mid-innings collapse, so for the Foxes to bounce back, it really was some effort. And in terms of the approach there from Massoud and Ahmed, it had to be done. This is something which we see time and time and time again at EdgBLASTon. There is the dismissal of the aforementioned Ahmed, but in the final 5 overs, providing you've got wickets in the shed, providing you've got a solid basis, a good foundation, you can easily go at 11, 12 runs per over, and we saw that late order acceleration through the likes of Van Beek and Cox. And yeah, just take a look at all the camera work there as well from our fantastic cam ops here at EdgBLASTon, getting all of the angles of that dismissal. And up until that point, I mean, again, the pendulum began to swing once more. I mean, Rayan, that was a big wicket. We saw a powerful punch through mid-wickets from Louis Kimber, the Foxes captain there. But yeah, it was around about here things started to buckle for the Foxes.
Yeah, this is the dismissal of Shan Massoud, who was very well taken by Samit Patel, who was coming in from his fine leg position. And at that point, Leicestershire 141 for 4 and were just wobbling a little bit. And I think Samit Patel knew it. To take the 2 wickets of Rayan Ahmed and Shan Massoud, who'd put on over 50, Leicestershire looking good. The game back in Derbyshire's favour here, and actually you could say was very much in Derbyshire's favour right until that 19th over. That's Patel getting rid of Louis Kimber for 141 for 5, and when we went round the board wondering what Leicestershire would end on, I think we were all, well, the consensus was 170, 180, but then the power hitting came. Ben Cox and Logan Van Beek rebuild slowly, and they did. But then it was the explosive over, and it was over 19 that really did swing the tide back in Leicestershire's favour. To get 196 for 5, they would have started that 19th over, I think, around the possibly the 160 mark, and it really did propel them. And there was and I'm sure when you speak to Samit Patel afterwards, and indeed Mickey Arthur, there would have been a reason why Pat Brown switched to around the wicket, which we didn't see at all in his 3 overs previous, but it really did seem to cost Derbyshire.
It did, and potentially it was a case of utilising the longer boundary on the onside. Just the danger with those short balls, that's also a very short boundary up towards the Scriven stand and the Stanley Barnes. So it was almost that double-edged sword, wasn't it, for Derbyshire? They tried to go with something a little bit different, and in the end it's been very costly. That over has definitely swung the pendulum in the favour of Leicestershire here. So we'll have to wait and see. T20's a funny game, and we saw that here today. We saw it yesterday up at Headingley with the Bears. I mean, going from 123 for 6 to scoring over 200. You can never, ever predict what the T20 Blast has in store. So this will be an almighty run chase. But I tell you what, if Derbyshire can get off to a strong start, have that foundation through the likes of Nye Donald, who smashed a barnstorming 73 not even 24 hours ago.
Yes.
They've definitely got a chance in the chase.
Yep, you feel Nye Donald will be integral to Derbyshire's hopes of reaching 197, but they have some canny operators, as we know, Samit Patel, Wayne Madsen, and they've got some of the lower order in decent nick as well. Brooke Guest played a nice hand at Trent Bridge last night as well, so we shall see. We have the two umpires, we have Leicestershire out there as well, and we have the two Derbyshire openers making their way to the crease, Nye Donald and Caleb Jewell, who will be also important. Caleb Jewell, one of the overseas players. Again, we've seen flashes from Caleb. Maybe this is his moment to show us what he's all about.
Yep, absolutely. I definitely agree with that, Chris. It's a big game, isn't it, this for Derbyshire? We saw that victory against their East Midlands rivals, Nottinghamshire, at Trent Bridge less than 24 hours ago. Now it's a case of doubling it up and trying to get the season back on track. So for Caleb Jewell and Nye Donald, this is a big, big partnership, and yes, it will be a big chase as well.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. We'll let you return to your den, get your head down and provide us with more of your important statistics as we make our way through the second innings of this match. The first of MidlandsMania, Leicestershire Derbyshire. Leicester 196 for 5, so 197 needed for Derbyshire. We'll see if they can take some of the good form out of last night when they comfortably beat Notts at Trent Bridge into the run chase, because Adam Bridge, they are going to need to get off to a decent start. Whenever you chase close to 200, you feel the start is always vitally important.
It is, and very quickly with a run rate required at the start of 9.85, if you don't get off to a decent start, you very often find yourself looking at in excess of 10 and over, which is a big ask. I think there's no two way. And then you get the scoreboard pressure and so on and so forth. And I think sometimes that's why you end up losing by 100 runs, isn't it? Because it is a big ask. So let's see what Derbyshire have got to offer. And it's Logan Van Beek who is going to open the bowling from the Birmingham end. And facing up first of all will be Caleb Jewell on strike, as we are ready to go. Bang on starting time at 4:30. Look at that, that's absolute perfection as ever from our umpires as we prepare to get going. The two fielders who are out, we have a deep square leg, and I think, if I look, we have got a third man as well in place. So the chase is on, 197 to win. And a boundary to start from Jewell, just punching through the offside. It's a short boundary. Once you get beyond that inner circle, you're pretty much guaranteed 4 runs.
Lovely shot, lovely way to start, isn't it? We saw Sol Bunninger take 2 balls to hit his first boundary after a dot to open up. Caleb Jewell driving fluently through the covers. And yeah, you're right. If these two can get going and give Derbyshire a platform, then they do have every chance. Shots like that will certainly help.
They certainly will. Jewell off and running. Always a good way to start. Oh, he's been tucked up a bit there. A little bit of extra pace you feel from Van Beek. A tighter line as well. It's a dot ball. Caleb Jewell, I mean, as you were saying, you want to see more from him, Aaron, in terms of the campaign he's had so far. He's not really setting the world alight, is he?
Not by his standards. I think that's the key thing here, because we've seen it so many times in the Big Bash. He's a man with 7 career 50s, but so far 130 runs at 21.66. I think everybody knows that Caleb Jewell is far better than that.
Got 1 more to his total. I think will give us the first chance to have a look at Donald on strike to face Van Beek. It's important they get off to a good start here, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is the man to give them that good start. He was excellent last night at Trent Bridge. 30 balls or so for his 70, and he's such a destructive player. We've seen glimpses here at EdgBLASTon during his his time with the Phoenix when the 100 rolls around, and he's he's part of the squad for this year as well, isn't he, Nye Donald? So we'll see him. But he's, as I said to Aaron off air, he's all or nothing, Nye. He'll either get you 80 off not very many, or he'll not get you very many off not very many.
Let's see which Nye's turned up today. It's going to be one to get him off and running. Building done by Roman Walker on the boundary edge.
And as always, when an innings like Leicestershire's ends as it does, you wonder how much momentum they can take from that, because there's no doubt they ended the better, which was amazing, because at 19 overs, it was you felt Derbyshire were on top now, and they can take that. And then that Pat Brown over, getting towards 200, Leicestershire feel like they've got the momentum now.
Worked away just for one more for Jewel, who moves on to 7 the score. Jewel on to 6 of those. A few heavier clouds have appeared above. The sun has departed us for now. What's been a fairly glorious afternoon. Reminder, if you are watching the stream and you fancy coming down for a bit of Joel Corrie, and you fancy coming down for the second game of the day where the Bears take on the Outlaws, because you've not got much else to do on a Saturday afternoon, tickets are still available, so do come along and join us here at EdgBLASTon for the second half of MidlandsMania. And Donald just flashes at that one from Van Beek, and that completes the first over. 7 without loss for Derbyshire.
For a moment I thought he had him, and then remembered it was the end of the over, so everyone was charging around because they had to get to the other end. Yeah, so what, 196, so what, yeah, you're looking at tad under 10, so you're looking to travel at 9. It is, yeah, well, now it is 10 and over. Yeah. Now it is exactly 10 and over, yeah.
Yes, it is.
I'm pleased you weren't very polite about that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was trying to work out what 197 minus 7 was. It was right in front of me. Yes, exactly 10 and over. So now's the time to make hay during the power play.
You have to get off to a good start, because if you end up, I don't know, even if you're 40 without loss at the end of the power play, you kind of feel you are so far behind the 8 ball in terms of what you need to be trying to achieve. Matt Salisbury is into the attack. Ooh. Let's have a bit of luck there. I'll just get one for it.
Yeah, the dreaded inside edge. I imagine Jewel was waiting for the clatter of bails there, but gets away with it. Derbyshire opened up with spin, but Leicestershire going with pace from both ends to start with.
And we talk about winning power plays, and it is, you know, in terms of winning games of cricket, winning the power play goes a long way, doesn't it?
It does at EdgBLASTon. So in the previous 3 games here, every single side that's won the power play, quote unquote, getting more runs, went on to win the game. So that is definitely a metric. We'll have that comparison at the end of the 6th over, and we'll wait and see whether or not that correlation continues here on MidlandsMania.
Certainly didn't middle it, and they'll get no run for it. Quiet start from these two. So that first ball from Jewel, when you consider that raced away to the boundary, we've had 7 deliveries since for just 4 runs.
Yeah. It's coming, don't you worry.
The pressure does start to build.
Doesn't hang around, as Donald knows.
It is coming. The thin edge was coming, where right between keeper and the fly slip, who's at the edge of the 30-yard circle, and it's 4 more to the total, but not really what Donald had in mind, you feel?
Take them anyway, they come. Yeah, that would have been right down regulation first slip had there been one. Leicestershire had a few of those in their innings, so Derbyshire will feel that they're due a couple as well.
We may have seen Rayan Ahmed early on, but maybe save him to post power play. We'll see. Can be expensive sometimes, leg spinners. Well, that's better from Donald. He's only going to get a couple for it, as once more Roman Walker is doing the fielding for the Foxes. Score moves on to 14.
Yeah, it's just warming up. Here's Nye Donald. That's a shot we saw plenty last night at Trent Bridge, getting the pads out of the way, swinging through the line of the ball.
Oh, that's a lovely shot. Beautifully played, beautifully executed, and it's a ramp for 6. And Donald now just starting to pick up the tempo a little. He's on to 13, and the Falcons are on to 20 without loss.
Very nicely done, very nicely played. It's not a shot we see too much from him, actually, but whether he telegraphed that Salisbury would be banging in a little bit short, and as we said throughout the first innings, that boundary that side, the Birmingham end, looks useful, looks tasty if you're at the other end.
Last ball of the over, and he's beaten all ends up this time. And again, the vague attempts to appeal for something, but I think he was far away from it. 2 overs gone then, 20 without loss.
Every great team has its unsung heroes. The all-rounders, the heavy lifters, putting their organisation on the map. We're talking about you, the humble IT engineer, supporting EdgBLASTon across the season. They're the ones delivering, day after day.
Now it's going to be the man who's been fairly busy in the field so far, Roman Walker, who's going to give us a bowl from the Birmingham end for the Foxes. Falcons on 20 then from the first 2 overs. It's a lovely shot. Lovely shot from Jewell. Classical drive through the covers for 4.
Rinse and repeat from his opening shot of the piece, wasn't it? Not a great deal of foot movement, but when you strike the ball as cleanly as that, it doesn't particularly matter. Races through the covers for 4. Nicely timed.
Ooh, it's a good hand down from Walker. Almost diverted it onto the stumps. Prevented runs though.
Yeah, good stop that. That is when your luck's out, if you're the batting side, that ricochets off the bowler's hands, cannons into the non-striker stumps, and that's your day done. Must be the most infuriating way to get out. I can't think of many other ways in cricket that are worse than that.
It's through no fault of your own, really, is it?
No, absolutely.
I think that's the frustration behind it.
Yeah. You're doing the right thing, you're backing up. And it's worse when, I know some bowlers will claim, and sometimes you do see them if the ball is hit back with not as much power, you can see the bowler divert it, but 9 times out of 10 it's an attempt to stop the ball. It's the ones that they have to slow just to see if it touches the fingertip. That's when you think, oh, come on. And you trudge back to the dressing room thinking, my luck's out.
Does feel a little bit harsh. Turn around the corner. For a moment, the fielder, I think, probably thought he was in the game there, Tom Scriven. But it just bounces once into his hands, and it's 1 more to the total. 26 without loss. Walker's responded well after that opening boundary. There's a lot of facial hair going on there with Roman Walker, I noticed. Very big sideburns. But I don't think it all marries up. I think there is a little gap to his little beard if you look as he's charging in. That's a lovely shot again from Jewell. This time very different to what we've seen in his scoring runs so far. Just off the hip, round the corner, and 4 runs.
A slightly dicey shot to play. Rishi Patel is not too far short fine leg there. No chance of that. And there were a few plaintive cries of catch. It was no real chance, but you've got to be a little bit careful playing that shot, given the position that Patel is taking.
Well, they're rattling along here at potentially about 10 and over, so they're started well, keeping the run rate in check as they take 1 more to the total. So 31 from the first 3 overs. Expensive over from Walker, 11 from it. And it's a really good start, actually, from the Falcons. And and already they've taken that run rate down below the 10 it was, which is good. They're just keeping on top of things.
Yeah, it doesn't feel too dissimilar from the Leicestershire opening 3 overs. It felt like Sol Bodinger was a little bit more destructive than Jewell and Donald have been, but they're both ticking along nicely. Jewell 17 from 10 and Donald 14 from 8. Donald has tended to be the aggressor in the fleeting opening partnerships these two have enjoyed. Enjoyed is not the right word. They haven't been anywhere near the level of runs they'd want to be.
Matt Salisbury's continuing despite being carted for 13 from his previous over. In terms of their campaign so far this season, Aaron, these two, we knew how Derbyshire was struggling prior to the victory. Have they had any decent partnerships? I can see you're eking your eyes to tell me not really.
This is the thing for me today. It feels like these two need a massive partnership. I reckon 50 plus as a bare minimum, because they've got to lay the foundation for that middle order. Salisbury comes into bowl here to Donald.
It's a nice shot around the corner for 4. Because then there is a man who's going to try and give him that platform and showing the intent for it. I mean, they both move on to 18. Started very nicely here.
Didn't look a great ball from first sight. The replay, yeah, it's neither one thing nor the other. Lengthwise, banged in, slightly leg side. I think a player of Donald's calibre will put that away more often than not.
Makes room and he's hammered that back at Salisbury, who put his arms up more, I think, in self-defence than an attempt to catch it. He's absolutely flat-patted it with power as Donald, and it's 4 more to the total.
God, it's like an inside-out forehand, wasn't it, that? Just one leg in the air, slaps it back, cross-court winner. Again, the length is not... It needs to be shorter, a lot shorter than that if you're going to trouble with the short ball. That's right in Donald's hitting zone.
Yeah, 9 off the first 3 from Salisbury.
Oh,
it's pure power, isn't it? It's just muscled that to the boundary ropes over the head of the fielder at mid-on.
it tests all of your skill, doesn't it, as a bowler? You've just been carted for 2 boundaries, banging it in shortish. So you think, okay, I'll up it a little bit, and that's right in Donald's hitting circle, bang. You disappear for another boundary. It's a batter's game, isn't it, this format? Always has been.
Salisbury gone for 26 already. 2 balls to go in this his second over. Oh. And this time he's going for 6 more. And that's huge. That's into the hollies. It's a massive hit that time from Donald, who moves on to 32 off of 12. And it brings the 50 up for the Falcons. And it's come off just 23 deliveries.
Well, he bludgeoned his way to 5 6s and 7 4s in his 73 last night, did Nye Donald. And once again, Salisbury is right in his circle there, slightly leg side. That is Donald's shot. That is one that he plays time and time again. It's one that can get him into trouble, but when he times it and hits it like that, there is only one place that is flying.
Yeah, he's striking beautifully right now. Salisbury again, right in the zone, and it's 4 more. And that's an expensive over. 23 runs from Salisbury's over. He's gone for 36 from 2. The partnership up to 54 after 4 overs. And this is turning into an exceptional power play from the Falcons, and it needed to be.
It absolutely did, and this is exactly as we've said throughout the day. So much of what Derbyshire do well stems from Donald doing well, and if he can set a platform, then Derbyshire have every chance of chasing down 197. And just like when Leicestershire were building up a decent head of steam with Sol Bodinger, Shan Masood, they struck at good times. Pat Brown, Derbyshire's strike bowler, so Leicestershire will need to try and find their own strike bowler.
Well, they've turned to Van Beek again, who's been the most economical of those with the ball in the opening tussles here. Jewell, who's suddenly playing a bit part, just plays away for a single. He's on to 19 from 12.
He's playing the Patel role there, isn't he? You've got one man in fine form. Let him face as many balls as possible. You can hear the Derbyshire fans somewhere. I presume all the more vociferous fans are in the Hollies somewhere.
They do tend to be most of the time. Dot ball, a rare dot ball when Donald's on strike. 36 off of 14 balls so far. You can see a beach ball starting to ping around in that Holly stand there for a moment.
Feels a bit early for that.
Well, I think for a while they were banned, weren't they?
Oh, were they?
Well, I think one game there was probably about 10 on the go. Oh! That's on its way. Short boundary. Going to be short, could be long. Doesn't matter to Donald. 6 runs to the total.
Yeah, you just cannot bowl there. You cannot bowl on length and slightly leg side-ish, because that is what happens. It's another fine shot, isn't it?
I think there was a guy in the crowd who quite fancied that, but it went off the hover cover.
Yeah, no points for that.
There he goes again, outside half of the bat this time. But it's still all the way for 6. He got nowhere near enough of that, really. But the sheer power from Donald. He moves on to 48. And we're in sight of a super fast 50 here. 67 without loss.
17 ball 50 for Sol Bodinger when these two sides met. Game 1 of the competition, and Nye Donald is looking likely 2 runs away, and this ball coming up is his 17th. 67 without loss. This is a dream Derbyshire start.
Spectacular, to say the least. Here he goes again. This time on the leg side, it's just going to be 1. He's going to be on 49 off the 17 deliveries. 14 off the over from Van Beek. And really struggling to find somewhere to turn here is Kimber for this Leicestershire Foxes side. Really is the perfect start for the Falcons. Just be 1 more to the total. It'll complete 5 overs. They're already way beyond the power play score that was posted by the Leicester Foxes. And the Falcons 69 without loss after 5 overs. Where on earth does he go now? Do you go to Rian Ahmed? That's the question, isn't it?
It is. There must be a temptation, but I'm not sure he will. They'll be quite happy that Caleb Jewell has stolen the strike there, so they'll want to keep him on strike as much as possible. He's perfectly capable himself, but at the moment you'd want Donald nowhere near the strike.
Liam Travaskis is the player they've turned to, so left arm spinner. Last ball of the, last over of the power play then. Score on 69. I mean, the run rate now is down at 8.5. When you consider after the first over, it was at 10 and over. So they've really shifted the onus here. Have the Falcons. Jewell is on strike. And the 2 fielders that are out beyond the circle, both on the leg side. Mid-wicket and square leg. Certainly for the left-hander. Let's see where they position them for Donald, because this will be an interesting matchup.
It will, and yeah, there's no real surprise. Deep mid-wicket and long on. Donald's so strong. In fact, I imagine the majority of his 6s have come leg side.
Swept for 4, and he brings the 50 up from 18 balls. He moves on to 53. No wonder the bat's in the air. It's a really nice contribution, and following up brilliantly after his innings last night.
Very much so. Very much carrying on from where he left off at Trent Bridge. It's a lovely shot, that. It's clever batting. He sees the 2 fielders in front of him, straight on, deep mid-wicket, long on. There's not too much cover for Travaskis backwards of square. Little sweep shot, 4 runs. Thank you very much.
Hit that uppish for a while. For a moment, I think Kimber may have been thinking there was an opportunity. 74 off 33 balls for these two. Really is the perfect start for the Falcons. That's going all the way for 4. Just lifted over the infield. Effortless again from Donald, who moves on to 57.
Yeah, he's making this look so straightforward.
It's a poor ball from
Damascus,
isn't it? It's short.
Yeah. Yeah, not much going Leicestershire's way at the minute. They will take heart from how well they were going themselves until Derbyshire pegged them back, but they are desperate for a breakthrough, and ideally they want the man on strike.
Restrict him to a single this time. So compared to the last couple of overs, the fact this has only gone for 10 is not bad, really. 79 without loss. 1 ball to go in the power play. Current run rate, as you can see on our screen, 13.5.
I feel like we must be approaching record Derbyshire power play score. I can't remember too many where they've got 80 plus.
Well, I have a feeling that we have a man with us who may know. That is power play time. It's done. The Falcons 80 without loss at the end of that 6 overs. So Aaron, first up, how does that compare to the Leicestershire Foxes? And are we in record power play territory here for the Falcons?
So let's take a look first and foremost at the comparison. So the Foxes were 56 for 1 by the end of their 6 overs. In comparison, yeah, Leicestershire, well, have shipped 80 runs to Derbyshire. And Aaron Donald, by the way, has just broken his own record for the fastest 50 by a Derbyshire batsman as well. The previous was 19 balls. He brought it up in just 18 deliveries. So this has been absolutely exceptional, and in terms of power plays here for Derbyshire at EdgBLASTon, yeah, it is a record. They've absolutely tonked it about all over the place. So yeah, serious start this for the Falcons. They'll be hoping to keep up this rip-roaring start, and as for Nye Donald, well, congratulations, Nye, broke his own record again.
Ahmed's in, and immediately finding the edge of Caleb Jewell's bat. And that's 1 more for the total. 81 without loss.
Leicestershire desperate here to build some form of pressure, try and restrict Donald, and they'll hope that Ahmed can play the role that Samit Patel did, and he managed to dismiss the dangerous Budinger quite early on in his spell.
Ooh, he's missed that one, Donald. I'll get through for a bye. Not held well by the keeper either. He's taken that on his toes, so it's 1 more to the total. 82 without loss. Do you get the feeling that Derbyshire may want to get out their kit and settled in their dancing shoes, ready for Joel Corrie? Maybe that's why they're trying to go along at such a rate here.
Oh, possibly. Oh, that's not going to help.
No, it's not at all. And once more, it's Walker, the ball following him in the field. And it's 4 more to the total.
When it's not going your way and you're being carted about, the last thing you need is a misfield like that.
Scott moves on to 86 without loss. All eyes on Walker now. And he's in action again here, but he's not going to get anywhere near that. Dissects the 2 fielders. Van Beek was the other one. And it's 4 more to the total. Takes them on to 90 without loss. And that run rate down now required around 8 and over.
Yeah. We might be out of the power play, but the power hitting continuing for Derbyshire.
Jules on to 31. He's coming to the party now. 1 more to the total. He moves on to 32. In terms of opening partnerships, Aaron, I mean, here at EdgBLASTon for the Falcons, are we getting into record territory yet?
Well, I'll look that up in terms of ones against the Bears, of course included. But in terms of this season, it is their highest by a country mile, which is great to see. And I suppose for the superstitious out there, of course, we saw the first 50 partnership yesterday, which the Falcons won. Well, they've surpassed even that, as that is just whacked out towards deep mid-wicket by Donald.
It is. One more to the total. Completes Ahmed's first over. 11 from it, 92 without loss after 7 overs. So 92 without loss, 7 gone. Seven overs gone then, 13 remain, 105 more required here for the Falcons to secure victory. Second victory of the season, 2 in a row. And maybe start to build up that momentum that we talked about before we started today. Tom Scriven is into the attack from the pavilion end. He's the latest to be thrown towards Donald. And just 1 to the total. Donald moves on to 60 off 24 balls.
Yes, and Derbyshire now have the ability to find the gaps, to keep the scoreboard ticking, take the quick singles. They've broken the back of it, haven't they, by reducing that run rate. They won't be stepping off the accelerator, but the power play has served them well. They've done exactly what they needed to do, and they just now need to see it through. But still 100 plus required.
Yeah, still a long way to go. It's still 8 and over. It's significantly less. They want the wicket. He's gone. Jewell clearly doesn't think he's touched that, but Michael Gough absolutely convinced, and Scriven strikes. Jewell's on his way with a score on 93. He's out for 32, and the Falcons lose a first wicket. 93 for 1.
Oh boy, did the Foxes need that. Yeah, it was difficult to tell whether Caleb Jewell was unhappy with the dismissal or unhappy that, you're right Adam, he didn't get a touch on it. It took a while, Michael Gough, to think about it, and then up went the finger. We'll see if we can ascertain much from the replay, but that's big for Leicestershire, and just like Derbyshire did, they chipped away at important times. Well, they both went up, didn't they, bowler and keeper? Oh, that look back to the umpire suggests that he doesn't feel he's touched it.
Yeah, very difficult to tell. That's for sure. Certainly no loud nick like we heard in the first innings when Pat Brown was collecting a couple of his 3 wickets. And nothing really conclusive, but the batsman fairly sure he hadn't touched it. He's on his way though. Samit Patel is in, batting at 3 for Derbyshire to join Donald, who's on 60. And this is the kind of situation that Samit Patel usually thrives in. Off the mark immediately.
Yeah, interesting. We weren't used to seeing Wayne Madsen come in at 3, but Samit has promoted himself up the order for reasons he will know, and reasons I'm sure have been well thought through. He often does, regardless of what Derbyshire are doing. If they need a period of stability, he often is the man. So whether he's thinking, okay, got the platform.
Well, they need some stability now, because now Donald's on his way. Scriven with a double strike. 2 wickets in the space of 3 deliveries. And again, both set batsmen have gone. It's been the story of this game. It happened to the Foxes, and now it's happened to the Falcons. Donald is gone, bowled Scriven for 60. It's 94 for 2.
It's another massive breakthrough that for Leicestershire. And you're right, it's amazing how it is following the pattern of what we saw about an hour and a bit ago. And Donald departs for a very, very well-made score, but comprehensively dismissed there.
He was. Scriven's certainly done something that no other bowlers managed to find out of this surface. I think that one just angled back into Donald, and he missed, and Scriven hit. And Tom Scriven, I mean, is he decent form this season so far?
Well, in fairness to him, it's just a case of getting wickets for Scriv. I mean,
Okay.
he's not...
In this form of the game, that's fine. If you take wickets, it's all it's about, isn't it?
There was a reason I said that. It's in terms of the economy rate. So that would be the issue so far this season. It's 8.85, and in terms of wickets, just the 2 before today. So he's doubled his tally already as a result of that. So, yeah, for Tom as a bowler, he is very much one of those middle over specialists, a partnership breaker, and he's done exactly that so far.
He has 2 for 2 in this over so far, and he's forced an edge from Wayne Madsen as well, but no fielder to cling on to that. It will just be 1 more to the total. Brilliant over from Scriven. 2 wickets for 3 runs, 95 for 2 from the opening 8 overs. Reminder, this is the first of our 2 games for MidlandsMania today. As you're watching the stream as well, if you could just click that thumbs up and click on the like. We like to get the likes up. It's usually a battle between games. I think we managed over 1,000 last weekend, so
nice.
Maybe some of you Falcons fans and Foxes fans would like the stream and see if we can push that number a little bit higher. If you want to give the stream a like, please do so. Only press it once though. Don't double click it, because then suddenly it disappears once more. And maybe you'll like it right now because things are going your way, Falcons fans. 95 for 2, but you feel like this partnership here could be quite crucial in trying to get this game home.
Yeah, we've got the very, very young Rian Ahmed bowling to the very, very old Wayne Madsen.
If you want to call him very, very old, that's your call, but
he won't mind. You might mind though.
No, I'm fine with it. He was captain here last week in the absence of Samit Patel. Experienced campaigners, both at the crease together. I mean, I could ask a really searching question of Aaron that he'll probably find quite quickly. So between the 2 of them, how many appearances in the Blast do we have? It's going to be one of those that he can find probably quite easily. Not too devilish a question to ask him today. 1 more to the total.
It'll be a high number.
Would we like to get the guesses in first?
Oh, now you're asking.
I mean, are we talking just Blast or across the...
Just Blast. We'll just go Blast for ease.
Okay.
I'm thinking somewhere in the... Between the 2 of them, how many years are we talking? Cripes.
Yeah.
I reckon it's got to be over 500. Oh, what a shot that is from Madsen. No messing around early doors from him. Spotted the length and picked it up brilliantly for 6.
That's a glorious shot. Very early on in your innings as well, to be finding that sort of touch. Again, it's not the worst ball in the world from Rian Ahmed, but beautifully picked up by Wayne Madsen. He's got all of that.
Over 500, am I?
Yeah, I think I would have plumped for sort of 460.
That's a very good guess. So in terms of overall T20 appearances, between them, you're looking at over 600.
Oh, wow.
In terms of the Blast, 421.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's even more that I can add to that, because it brings me on to one of my favourite facts in cricket, to be honest. We're speaking about the age-old question of, well, when should players retire? We saw some history take place actually in 2025 in the game between the Falkland Islands and Costa Rica, where Andrew Brownlee made his T20 debut at the age of 62.
Wow.
Was he playing for the Falklands, or?
He was, and in that game, it's funny we mentioned about the age difference between Rian Ahmed and the 2 men at the crease. Fabian Villalobos, who was playing for Costa Rica in that game, also debuted. Fabian is 16 years old, so that is a pretty big age gap between those two. 46 years, to be specific. I've wanted to use that on Bears TV for years, so I'm so happy that I've finally got the chance to do that and talk about the likes of Brownlee, and before that it was Osman Gurka for Turkey, who debuted at the age of 59 in a game. But even then, they aren't the oldest T20I debutants ever, because in women's cricket, Sally Barton for Gibraltar, we'll touch upon this after this delivery, made her debut against Estonia at the age of 66.
Wow.
That is good going.
What was she, a medium pacer, quick?
Keeper.
Oh, she's a wicket keeper, okay.
I was going to say, I hope she plonked herself at first slip for the entirety.
That must be quite
did
even for
nothing
20
else.
overs at the age of 60, still trying to crouch down and be a wicket keeper.
That's
wow.
very true, yeah.
That's very impressive. Ooh. Talking of impressive, Scriven here, very good. First 2 balls here, economical of this second over. She's gone for 4 in total so far. Run rate, what's dropped from 13 to just kind of 11.3, 90 more required then. We're not quite at the halfway stage yet, so still you would feel the Falcons are in the box seat in this game. One more to the total.
Yeah, I think if you were to put the win predictor on it, you'd certainly have probably Derbyshire around the 60-65% mark at the moment. There was a moment win predictor appeared in the World Test Championship probably yesterday when it was 50-50. I've never seen quite late on in the game in terms of where we were. I know it was still only day 2, but the Australia-South Africa test, which was wonderful, 50-50 quite late on. I thought, okay, there's not much point of you win predictor if you're predicting a 50-50 split.
Well, you could, I suppose it has to if that's genuinely how it feels.
Well, that's true. Sitting on the fence.
Although we've never quite got to the science of how the win predictor works, apart from a few people going, "What do you reckon?" You know, feels about even to me.
Yeah,
Okay, that'll do.
Exactly. Who's winning? Ask me at the end.
Terrific performance from South Africa to win that game. I mean, I think whenever you are chasing down the highest score of a 2 innings game in the 4th innings, that's quite a impressive performance, isn't it? All gone a little bit quiet in terms of boundaries for a few moments here. Yeah. No surprise.
No. Derbyshire still have this nice platform, and as we've mentioned, they've got 2 of the most experienced in the game, so they'll know how to play this. They'll know that they don't need to go too big. They'll want, obviously, to keep the score ticking over.
Tom Latham down below, gassing away to Van Beek as he's on his way to the nets ahead of the Bears game a little bit later. Right, we're at the midway point of this innings for the Falcons. And how do they compare with our 109 for 2 with how the Foxes were doing, Aaron?
Very well, to be honest, Adam. Yep, so the Foxes were 81 for 2 at the same stage, so Derbyshire well and truly ahead, and of course we saw towards the latter stages of the innings a real explosion and acceleration in scoring for Leicestershire. So yeah, the Falcons really nicely placed here to go on and chase this down, and this will be a crucial partnership between Samit Patel and Wayne Maddison, 2 men who, as we mentioned, have got bucket loads of experience in the T20 format.
I was going to say it's the advantage, 28 runs at this moment in time, but when you take into consideration that 24 run over that the Foxes posted towards the end, you know, you had those 24 on now, for example, and it's quite tight, isn't it? So I don't think it's as clear cut as the numbers would make out at this stage.
No, agree. Leicestershire will still feel they are right in this, and they'll be aware. I know, take last night out of it, but they'll be well aware of this Derbyshire side have not been performing too well in this competition.
Travaskis is the bowler, Samit Patel's the batsman, and 6 runs is the result.
Nothing more needs to be said. Yep, good shot. Gets the legs out of the way, allows the bat to come through. And if you are going to target any side of EdgBLASTon, it's the Holly side you're going for, especially if you're facing from the city end.
There's a big old gap there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Samit spotted it and manoeuvred himself to make that shot. Travaskis then under pressure. Goes again. Same place, same spot, different result this time because it's a 1 bounce 4.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good.
I hate to say it's almost like cricket by numbers, that, but it kind of was, wasn't it? First one was like, okay, well, the gap's still there. I'm just going to do exactly the same again. Yeah.
Will Louis Kimber be tempted just to tighten up that
little bit? He hasn't moved him a little bit, I think.
Yeah, he's just come a little bit finer. Cue Samit going square.
11 off the first 3 deliveries of the over. 77 more required. There he goes again, and he's not quite picked out the fielder this time. Well, again, it's Roman Walker who's been moved. Tried it for a 3rd time. Didn't quite get as much of it. And in the end, he was quite fortunate he didn't, because otherwise
I think
it was down Walker's throat.
Absolutely. I think had he timed that, that would have been quite a straightforward catch.
Walker on the move again. Here come 240-somethings. Running a quick 2.
Yes.
1, 2,
Although
3
I
for 2.
might quibble with your use of quick there. But it was a well-run 2.
It was. Put the pressure on Walker. Last ball of the over. And having run a quick 2, it's very gently strolled
Yes.
1 to complete the over. 11 overs gone, and the Falcons need 73 more to win. They are 1-2-4 for 2. Roman Walker is coming back into the attack from this pavilion end. He took a bit of tap in his first over, of course. 11 from it. And he's back on from this end where we are situated here at EdgBLASTon for MidlandsMania. Patel on to 16, Madsen on 16 as well, and they've very swiftly, in just 21 deliveries, they've put on 31 runs here, these two. So they've picked up the challenge that was laid down by these Foxes bowlers with those couple of quick wickets. A lot of bottom hand in that from Samit Patel.
Yeah, that was extremely wristy. Yeah, the two players that have made careers of nudging the scoreboard on nicely, and you can look up and see both on 2 from 2, and then next minute you look up, suddenly they're on to 16 without really remembering too many big shots.
I think with both of these as well, they have the big shots when they need them, but they're also just very good at manoeuvring the ball around the outfield, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, and this is the position that the Falcons find themselves in, that they're able to do it at 126 for 2, 71 required, 51 balls in which to get them, so they're very well set, and it's a very difficult predicament for Leicestershire at the moment.
It's going all the way for 4. Madsen just picking up in a poor ball really from Walker. Bit too short, straying on the leg stump. And Madsen will always pick up on those opportunities for sure.
Yeah, yeah, bread and butter for a man of his experience. And we're in that phase now for Leicestershire where if you're Louis Kimber, you're thinking, okay, wickets now. We are desperate for wickets. It's unlikely we're going to win this game by bowling out our 20 overs.
Ooh, that slipped through. It's going to be a wide, and they're going to run 1-2. The best of deliveries from Roman Walker. Notice Harry Swindles is out there doing some fielding as well at the moment. On 12th man duty today. So not sure who's departed. One more for Patel.
And you think there has to come a point relatively soon where Louis Kimber goes into strike mode. The boundaries are being defended, fair enough, but the Falcons can quite happily do this for the next 45 minutes, and they probably win the game quite comfortably, still with 8 wickets in hand.
They've got them into that position, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of it's a runner ball and, you know, the odd boundary.
Yep.
Thought about a second. They're running very well, these two. I mean, it's the end of the over, just the one boundary from it, but that's all they need, really, isn't it? When you consider 134 for 2, 9 off the over, 40 is the partnership between these two now. And they're two players who, and I know we joke about them being in their 40s, but I mean, when you look at kind of Blast history, particularly in the Midlands, with it being MidlandsMania today, of course, it's these two are just legends of Blast cricket, aren't they, really?
Yeah. Yeah, well, Samit's figures are, I was about to say incomparable, but that's not quite true. He's second in the all-time wicket-taking list behind the Bears' own Danny Briggs.
He'll be up later, of course, Danny Briggs, when the Bears play against the Outlaws. 7 o'clock, that's underway. Stream up and running for you from about 20 to 7 tonight. That's after we've been entertained by Joel Corrie, who is on the way at around about 10 to 6, so what, half an hour from now.
And they're two players, Madsen and Samit, that you can, and there are so many like this in the county game. Sam Hain being a prime example of players that you feel should have more international caps to their name. I know Samit had a successful spell with England, but it was always felt that he should have played more. He was in the team and then he was out of the team. Madsen, we know, well, he's got an Italian cap to his name, isn't he, because of his ancestry, but he's another player that you feel, how have South Africa not utilised him more? It's part of the reason why they've played so many Blast games, because they don't have international recognition on the whole.
Yeah, some of the many county cricketers who've never quite had the opportunity to show what they can do on the international stage, but they are the lifeblood of the game, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it shows that they're both still very happily playing in their 40s, and as I said earlier, Madsen will be here at Derbyshire for another season at least.
So you say the worry is with Sam Hain that he will end up in that list. Along with the likes of the types of like Sam Northeast, who you think actually in terms of quality as a batsman, how on earth has he never really got an opportunity with his country?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many of those littered around county cricket who, I guess a lot of the time it's down to timing, isn't it? It's, you know, oh, is Samit gone here? Well, they fancy a little bit of it. Cox is up, but he can be a bit of a kidder like that, Ben Cox, can't he? He'll appeal for everything. He
was getting nothing from Sue Redfern.
No.
Look at that.
No, it's just saying,
what's
really?
that? Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Samit sweeping aggressively. But again, it's an over where they tick over. 6 runs from it. 57 required from 42 balls right now. 140 for 2 as things stand for the Falcons. So yeah, 57 more required. 46 run partnership between these two. And it's at this point, obviously, that we saw Shah Massoud decide to put the foot down on the old accelerator and go for it. As you see, I said there was a few darker grey clouds, but there's still a bit of blue sky up there as well, as the day progresses nicely here for MidlandsMania. I'm thinking at some point soon we're going to see Joel Corrie in the distance start to appear and warm his decks up.
Warm his decks up.
You have to do on that far side.
Do you need to warm up if you're a DJ? You just sort of...
I don't know. It's a long time since I used to be on the old 1s and 2s in my teens. I was doing it back in the days of vinyl, my friends. So.
Oh, wow. That did take some work.
And to be honest, I couldn't mix a cake, let alone a couple of records together. But I did a good school disco.
Nice.
Put it that way.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
One more to the total.
Leicestershire need a strike, and they need a strike quickly, because this game is only going one way at the moment.
Wickets are going to be the key here, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they've not maybe ask Scriven to try and break this partnership before it kind of reaches the point where the game's beyond them.
Agree. You get to this point of a game where you need wickets, you turn to your strike bowler, you turn to someone who's done that, and Scriven 2 for 7 from his 2 overs. Yeah, I'd certainly be turning to him next if this over's wicketless.
Well, even if it's just for one more, just to try and help it on its way. I mean, I don't think that's quite what Madsen intended, but he'll take the 4 runs that come with it. He tried the switch hit, but it got a top edge, and it's defeated everyone for 4.
I'm not sure you'll find this in the old batting manual.
Brings up the 50 partnership as well for these two.
Yes, the top edge reverse sweep. Well, it's a 4 in the book, so he won't mind.
To be fair, he did that a few times last weekend, and he did it brilliantly with absolute power and precision. He's gone again this time, and see, that's what he was trying to do. Executed much better. He gets no extra runs for doing it well, but you know, it's 4 more to the total.
No, there are no style points.
149 for 2.
Terrific shot, not too far away from that backward point fielder who's, well, was turned into a fine leg fielder with the courtesy of the switch hit, but another good shot, another 4 runs.
Memory serves me correctly, he actually did one of them for 6 last week, didn't he? Yes, he did, yeah. It was a cracking shot, to be fair. So the 150's up just before the 14th over mark. Down to 47 off 37 now. 56 run partnership between these two. And Derbyshire absolutely in pole position. And that's the thing about Travaskis bowling now. I'm not going to say they're treading water, but he doesn't look threatening in any way, shape or form, does he?
No, and this is it. He's a very good bowler if you're looking to keep things tight and keep things ticking over, maybe restricting the batting team to 4s and 5s in an over. But when you need wickets, and that is the difficulty, and as we can see there, 132 plays 151 for 2. So that 20, I mean, you can take out the 19th over, and that's where that difference is. And had Derbyshire not conceded those 20 runs, they would be, you'd almost say, home and hosed. So that'll give Leicestershire a little bit of hope that they're only a couple of wickets away from breaking through, but at the moment, it doesn't feel like that wicket is coming.
Well, we talked about Scriven being the main man, 2 for 7 from his 2 overs. He's about to have a go this time from the opposite end, from the City end. So this is a real attempt to try and break this partnership for the Foxes. As Scriven's into the attack. He has been the partnership breaker so far. Removed both the openers within the space of 3 balls. And now he's back to try and do the same here to Patel and Madsen. Because they're getting dangerously close to victory here. 45 from 35. Samit Patel, I think, wants a new bat. I thought that one was doing all right.
I thought he was doing absolutely fine with it, yeah. Yeah, and it felt like only 5 minutes ago that they still needed 100 plus to win.
Forces the outside edge of the bat of Madsen. But still 1 to the total.
Never forget, do they, the fans? Poor old Roman Walker's still getting stick from his earlier misfield, so every time the ball has gone in that direction, there must be a horde of Derbyshire fans in the early rows of the Hollies.
Really good crowding. One more to the total.
Back in action again tomorrow, Leicestershire against the Rapids. So they've not got, should they go on to lose this game, which looks like they might, barring any late wickets now. So a chance to rectify things nice and quickly, and they're still right in the mix. Still plenty of cricket to play.
Oh, he's got him. He's got him. And Wayne Madsen just stops for a moment and says, how on earth? But Salisbury's taken the catch. I thought Madsen had got plenty of that. I think he thought he'd got plenty of it as well. But Salisbury, and he's done it again, Scriven. His 3rd wicket. And he's broken this promising partnership between these two. Madsen's on his way for 35. and it's 154 for 3.
He's the man of the moment for Leicestershire. Need a wicket call for Tom Scriven. Taken all 3 of Derbyshire's wickets, 3 for 10 from his 2 and a bit overs. Gets plenty of this Madsen, but straight down Salisbury's throat. It's a good catch down there as well. Now then, is that the wicket that can break through for Leicestershire? Is that the little spark they need? We saw it in the Leicestershire innings. 1 led to 2, and then the handbrake came on. They haven't got too much time to play with, too many runs to play with of Leicestershire, but still with 43 required.
Well, there is, and you've also still got Ross Whiteley to come, who we know has got tremendous power.
Yeah. Still plenty of batting for Derbyshire. Still Ross Whiteley, who we see now. Still Brooke Guest to come. So Derbyshire still favourites, but we know in this game a wicket can change it all around.
Ooh, and he's been beaten outside the off stump by Scriven. This is a really terrific spell of bowling. And I'm thinking as well, Scriven's heading for, I know we've got another over to go, but probably best career figures.
Almost. Yep.
Okay.
So his current career best were 4 for 21
Okay.
against Nottinghamshire in 2023, I believe, at Grace Road. So doing quite well here is Tom Scriven. Definitely giving the Foxes a chance in this game.
And better economy today than we've seen so far this campaign. And he almost got his 4th then. Thin edge from Whiteley. And it's away. 15 overs gone then. 155 for 3 for the Falcons. .42 required then from the last 5 overs. 7 wickets remaining here as well. And Rian Ahmed is back into the attack for the Leicestershire Foxes. It feels quite a tight game, this. I know it looks quite straightforward, but again, you just feel if they got Patel out, then all of a sudden you're just opening up things a little bit, aren't you? That next wicket really is crucial.
Agree. Yeah, agree. And I'm sure many a Derbyshire fan will tell you that this is far from comfortable.
Rian Ahmed's trying to have his impact in the game. Whiteley trying to belt the cover off the ball.
It's just a different feel. I know not much has changed. A wicket's fallen, but it is amazing how it can affect the ebb and flow of a match.
It's the toe end onto that one. Surely they'll think about 2. They do. Good running from Whiteley. He likes playing here as well, doesn't he, Aaron Whiteley? He's got a good record at EdgBLASTon.
Well, he certainly has confidence from the last game. Scored that barnstorming 50. And in terms of Whiteley's modus operandi, the method in which he scores his runs, 33% of them have come via a 6, which is quite staggering. Loves to score those big shots, and that is a very punchy shot, isn't it, through the covers for what should be 2.
Yeah, Walker fielding, and fielding well. Without a bat sponsor at the moment as well, I notice. No stickers on his bat. Certainly not on the front anyway.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, interesting to see how he plays it. Whether he sticks to what he knows and goes big to get it done quickly.
He's certainly targeting that offside every time. He just stands back, and Walker's misjudged that again, but he did really well because he'd overrun it to stretch his hand back, and they've run 3 2s, and I think in a minute Samit may well just bend over his bat and go, any chance of a boundary?
That was a very good stop in the end, because you're right, it looked like he'd ran past it and then just got that big right hand down. Decent stop in the end.
It's no surprise, every contact we've had from Whiteley has kind of been spinning away into the outfield the way he struck it. Well, this time they've gone up for the catch again. Cox thinking he's got him down the leg side, but again, nothing doing from umpire Goff this time.
Presumably hit something, top of thigh pad maybe? Because it wasn't wide, was it?
Nope, no, not at all. So there may be contact of something, but not the bat, as Cox and Ahmed were hoping for. There he goes again, looking to pick out Walker. No, he's evaded them all this time. And that's 4 runs from Whiteley. I think that's what he was trying to do for the majority of that over. Finally gets it right, and they comfortably pick up 10 from the over, which keeps them well on target to win this game, the Falcons.
As responses go, that's very good for Derbyshire. Maybe rocking slightly after that Madsen wicket, but Whiteley's come in and question whether we might see a little more circumspect Ross Whiteley. Very unlikely, plays one way, and he can very quickly win this game for Derbyshire. 32 from 24. And the beauty for Derbyshire is that they have players to come that, if needs be, can noodle their way to victory. Still plenty of batting. Martin Anderson, Brooke Guest, Finn Hudson-Prentice.
Conundrums of being a captain here, though, isn't it? Because Scriven's come in, he's taken another. Do you bowl him out, or you go, actually, no, I'm going to go back to Van Beek and I'm going to keep Scriven in case it gets squeaky towards the end? But actually, without another couple of wickets, you're probably not going to get to the end, are you? Quite a challenge, but then Van Beek has been lifted by Patel. It was kind of landed in a triangle between three fielders, but there is just 2 to the total again.
Yeah, tricky. You're right. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, aren't you? If you're Louis Kimber here. Might have been tempted to bowl Scriven out, I think.
It's a tough ask because Van Beek, he's not taking a wicket. He's kind of been going at 11 and over. You can't really afford that at this point. You need him to take wickets. There's no doubt about it. And well, he's gone for 3 off the first 2 balls, which isn't ideal. It's always the issue when you kind of get to that point where you think, if I don't bowl my best bowler, then I save him for the last over when they need 3, and it's kind of been a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah.
And it's now, what, 29 off 22, so we're in a real critical stage in this game.
Yeah. They'll hope just to sneak through this Van Beek over without too much damage, and then you suspect we'd see Scriven from the pavilion end next over.
One more to the total.
Still has the feel of a game that has one more little twist. I'm not sure. And at 28 from 21, you'd expect the batting team to see this out. But it just feels there's maybe one more surprise in this match to come. Oh.
I mean, there are no words really, are there? When it's your day, it's your day.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be Samit Patel's day today.
We've seen a remarkable number of those shots today across both innings. Inside edges that have flown to the boundary. And you're right, when your luck's in and it's your day, they fly to the boundary. And when it's not your day, they clatter into off stump.
Well, that's going to be a no ball, isn't it? Yes, it is. No ball and a free hit.
Oh,
so,
dear.
again, everything going the way right now of the Falcons. 173 for 3. And it's a free hit for Samit Patel that I'm pretty sure he's going to try and make use of. Already 9 from the over. Almost at a runner ball too. Field obviously stays the same. And there's the free hit signal.
Not sure what the delay was there. Were they just...
I think she was waiting for an acknowledgement from the scorer maybe. But
okay. Oh, we might have to do that again. Ah, well bowled.
No, it was clever. Samit Patel lifted alone. I've never seen a batsman leave a free hit alone before, if I'm brutally honest. But
no. Oh, I can only assume he thought it would be wided.
I think it was inside the tram line, so one of those strange moments. Still 22 required then from 19. Not quite enough time probably here for Samit to get to his 50. And again, he's let that one. He's had a go at that one at least. And there's no run. End of the over. 175 for 3. 3 overs remaining then. So 22 runs required off the last 18 deliveries.
Well, if Derbyshire do go on to win this, the table suddenly looks a lot nicer from their perspective, having 24 hours ago been rock bottom of the table on nul point. They'll be level if they do see this through with Notts, who play a little bit later against the Bears, level with Yorkshire, level with the Rapids, who do have 2 games in hand. Games played looks a little bit all over the place in the North Group.
Yeah, it is a little bit. Obviously, the Bears will be playing Game 7 today, won't they?
Yeah.
So it's they'll be at the halfway stage of the competition. Don't forget to like the stream as well. Well, thanks for your company today. Whether you're a usual Bears viewer or maybe you're a fan of the Falcons or the Foxes, all you need to do is deliver your thumbs up for us. That's much appreciated. 175 for 3. Don't forget, we've got Joel Corrie coming in about 10 minutes' time or so once we're finished here. He's had many a chart hit, and he'll be banging the tunes out in the interval. I think he's up there for about 40 minutes or so.
Is he? Good effort, Joel.
So it's all on Scriven here. 3 for 11 so far.
They're brilliant figures. It's amazing in the destruction of everyone else that Scriven is 3 for 11 off 3 and 1 ball. They are excellent figures.
In the context of all the quicks in this game, even Pat Brown with his 3 wickets still
Yeah.
got carted for 50 runs.
Yeah.
These are remarkable because it's not been a day for seamers really, apart from this effort from Scriven. So it's going to be 1 to the total. Has Scriven actually gone for a boundary yet, Aaron? I'm asking a question that you're not going to...
I can find that out very shortly for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, put him to work.
It doesn't feel like he has.
No, I
he
don't
certainly
think he
didn't in
has.
the first over, so I think it's just been singles in all 3 overs so far, which, again, to not go for a boundary in a T20 game and you're kind of 20 overs into your 24, 20 balls into your 24 is a remarkable effort.
It is.
As he gets carted to the boundary now. There we go. It's all the way. Samit Patel is carted in for 6. Well, you can guarantee when you get teed up for something that's going to happen.
Leicestershire fans will not be thanking you for that.
No, my name's Chris Coles. I did nothing wrong there. That's it. I mean, it's a great hit from Samit Patel. Considering how well Scriven has bowled, Patel's just picked that one up beautifully.
Yeah, great shot that.
He's on to 37. We mentioned he might not get a 50, but if he carries on like this, he might. Oh, he's gone again. He's gone again. And this one, not quite as far, but it's 6 more for Samit Patel. Well, he took wickets. He's scoring runs. Pretty much guarantees he's going to be player of the match for the Derbyshire Falcons. He's on to 43.
Oh, incredible hitting. It's a cruel game, isn't it? Here we are eulogising over Tom Scriven's figures and how good he's been, how economical he's taking wickets. And was just about to mention, Derbyshire will not want this to get into last over territory. And then Samit Patel, 2 swishes of the blade, 12 runs, game pretty much done.
9 more required. There he goes again, this time out the other side. And this time just a 4 for Samit Patel, who moves on to 47. And he's within striking distance of another 50. How many 50s has he got in the T20 Blast, Aaron?
Well, in terms of his overall career, 36 half-centuries for Samit Patel, and it is interesting, I did look back with regards to the previous spell of Tom Scriven. Yet every single one of those previous runs were scored from 1, so...
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, 3 back-to-back-to-back boundaries since.
Just the 1, but he'll keep the strike.
He knows what he's doing.
As he moves on to 48. 193 for 3. So 4 required. Samit Patel on 48. Partnership 39 runs for these two from 21 balls and wide. He's been getting fairly quiet up the other end. As victory within sight here for the Falcons. And of course, it's a Falcons home game, even though they're played here at EdgBLASTon. So it's a good performance and a good win coming their way here, you feel?
Yeah, and they've done it very, very impressively. I did fear for them a little, especially given the total Leicestershire got to. I thought that might be a little bit of a tough chase for Derbyshire, but they've gone about it really well. Set up by Nye Donald and Samit Patel leading the charge now.
Van Beek's in. It's a full toss. Turn around the corner. There's no run. Patel stays on 48. I don't know if you saw that a moment ago, but obviously fancy dress is always a thing.
Yep.
Usually it's the kind of youth of today who dress up as cones. I've just seen a kind of latterly aged Super Mario, I think, and Luigi in the crowd, which I just caught a glimpse of for a moment. I don't know if a cameraman can pick him out again, I don't know, but he had grey hair and a beard, Super Mario, which I've not seen before. And it's 4 more to Patel. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a victory for the Falcons, and it's yet another half century for Samit Patel. He finishes on 52 from 32 balls, and that's a crushing victory for the Falcons. They've done it by 7 wickets with 10 balls to spare. It's an excellent run chase, set about and started so brilliantly at the top of the innings by Donald and Jewell, and then Madsen and Patel have played their part too. Well, the man is age-defying. He's the Peter Pan of T20 cricket for sure. He chipped in with 2 wickets and now a 50, and he skippers his side to only the 2nd win of the campaign. Not a lot Van Beek could do. Patel just helps himself to 4 more, and Derbyshire helped themselves to 4 points, and the celebration from Samit Patel really says it all.
Absolutely does. Yeah, that's a very, very useful victory for Derbyshire, who very much feel now that they've arrived in this year's competition after 5 fairly drab results, certainly 5 drab performances, to beat their arch rivals last night at Trent Bridge, to back it up with a very good win against another of their East Midlands rivals in Leicestershire. They will feel an awful lot better about life. And for Leicestershire, never really got going, did it, in their bowling efforts, save for Tom Scriven, who is excellent with his figures. Never really felt like they were in the game. And for Derbyshire, 8 points now. Leicestershire still very much in the mix for a quarter-final spot. But great entertainment, great hitting, and we hope for more of the same in an hour's time or so.
Yeah, there's a long way to go, but I mean, to get the momentum, get a 2nd win, and do it in the manner that they did today, they were excellent. Samit Patel was superb, as probably we expected he would be, but all round it's a terrific performance. When you're chasing a daunting total that's up around the 200 mark, to go about it in the way they did it, and do it with the ease at which they did it, I mean, they'll go away very, very happy, and we can only hope for more later. Obviously, Joel Corrie to come next.
Joel Corrie to come next.
But then we'll be back with some more cricket on a separate stream. We'll be back with a separate stream for that one at around about 20 to 7.
Fair enough. So I hope you can join us for that. We're halfway through MidlandsMania. Very good win for Derbyshire against Leicestershire. They're on to 8 points. Leicestershire remain on 12 and still in a very strong position with still plenty of games to go. 7 o'clock tonight then, we've got the Bears against Notts, the 2nd instalment of MidlandsMania. Joel Corrie before that, so still plenty to enjoy with us on Bears TV. But we hope to see you again in just under an hour's time.